on, people?
What's going on? What's up?
Hola.
Team is back.
Really good. What's going on?
Buenos dias.
Yeah, man. You know, it's Unfamous Podcast. It's your boy, Mr. NJ Big City.
This is John from Up in the Sky from out of hiatus.
Just kidding.
Woo! Ow! Yeah!
We're gonna explain
Really
that.
did that.
Yeah. Eddie Hardaway. We got Oz over there.
I don't, oh, let me get up close.
Pretty caramel.
I don't
Pretty
got
caramel.
no pretty caramel thing.
Yeah.
Let's go with that.
Pretty caramel thing.
I'm gonna go with that. Shout out to My Pride Apparel,
Oh, shit. Okay.
black owned business.
Okay. All
For
right.
my black people.
Shout out
Support.
my pride apparel.
Welcome back.
Another week. Small bullshit, but you know, it is what it is. How's everybody week been going? Because you already know, whoever works for the government, you know how ours is going.
Still doing volunteer service, community service. Non-court ordered, but presidentially ordered, I guess.
I'm not doing this with you today.
Other than that, oh yeah, I went to a little silent. What was that shit? We went to
Oh, the silent disco.
silent disco. We went to silent.
Ooh, that
Second
was
time I went
fun.
to it.
At
Yeah,
Press
it was
Box.
great.
It was really good.
At Press
awesome.
Box.
It was
I think
really good.
went at Blue Olive once before.
Yeah.
Yeah, we went
Yeah.
to the Blue
That shit was weird.
It was weird. I got mixed reviews about it.
You got
It's
people-
weird to try to talk to a chick when she got headphones on.
Yeah,
It's
you
like-
trying to dance with her.
Right.
Y'all different channels. Hers is purple and yours is green.
Right,
You
it's-
like,
That's why you gotta change the channel.
yeah, fuck out of here, man. I'm not. That's just stupid.
It was
It's
good.
weird, but
It's
I mean,
dope.
It's
It's
cool.
dope, but it's just like I can't get used to it.
I can't even, man.
I'm trying to grind on your butt. And you trying to listen to gospel? Like it's just not.
Wait, what?
I'm pretty sure.
You like it?
So,
God, property. Are you with me?
I got property.
GP. Are you with me?
Oh, yeah.
It's super weird.
She out there twerking and she's like, damn, man, this motherfucker twerking like a motherfucker. Boy, they be like, let me turn it
But you
to.
think she listening to Cardi B? She listening to goddamn.
They be like,
What kind of church thing going on over here?
it's like, yo, what is going on?
I genuinely dislike y'all.
Anything else going on with you, Josh?
But that was like a singles night, and if that's what Charlotte got to offer, Lord Jesus.
Yeah, I don't know how you have a singles night and a solid disco because it's hard to interact with
Right.
people. It's like you got to tap them on the shoulder. Hey, girl, take your headphones off. I want to holler at you. Like, it's weird.
You know what? That's easier for the chicks, though, because if they really don't want to fuck with you, they're like, nah,
Yeah, true.
I
Listen,
can't.
I'm A1 at avoiding eye contact in the club. You could walk right up on me and look at me. I'll be like,
Damn. Savage,
you walk behind me, I'll be like, oh, you trying to get by? Excuse me.
Oh,
Yo,
Dead ass.
so,
nah, they gonna grab you on the
Yes.
waist and be like, nah, I'm right where I want to be.
Nah, you good.
I had a quick story. Jai was there for this shit, and Josh was there for this shit. When we went to, what was it, Royale or some shit?
That ratchet. That's the
You don't
Oh,
know that?
yeah. Talking about the DJ, like, get the fuck out of the way.
So, Jai, you know what I'm saying, it was this chick, and, you know, he danced with her, whatever it is. I'm like, all right, that's what's up. And then this old dude, he tried to dance on her, right? She just got a look, she's like, they walked away. He like, man, these bitches, bro, they out here. I was like,
You're like, she want you, bro. She want you, bro.
I think the best one I did, I think I was at a homecoming party and a dude grabbed my hand. I was like, hey, how you doing, brother? You blessed?
I was like,
Fucked up.
Oh my
no, it's
God.
not, yo. Like, some of them niggas, yo.
I don't like going out.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes I go to the club and some of them niggas be drunk. They be grabbing chicks by the wrist.
Yeah, they
and
be real
dragging them.
aggressive.
Like,
They be
bro,
real
hey, man,
aggressive.
sorry.
I swear, every
Start
time I
clubbing
go-
bitches on the head with something.
They be real
For
Dragging
some
them.
reason, I'm always the guy that girls be like, no, that's my boyfriend. I'm like, yo, don't do that shit, because he might try to fight me. I'm like, fuck this nigga up and not get no ass. Like,
He gonna be like, 2 men enter, 1 man leaves. You like, damn, I didn't sign up for this.
and it be chicks I don't even know.
Sound like a porno.
I guess because I'm just tall, they come and grab me like, and tell me like, yo, this my boyfriend, and they look at me, I be like, my nigga, like, I'm gonna shoot my shot, like you.
Oh my God.
They like, thank you. Nah, come come here. I'm your boyfriend.
Exactly.
Fuck that.
Bring that ass here.
Bring that ass here.
Grabbing your ass and everything. Like, yeah, this my girl, nigga. Grabbing the titty for no reason. Like, that's real inappropriate. Like, no, I'm your boyfriend. Ain't it? Fuck out of here.
I was at one club and the dude, I was with a guy, like his arm was around my waist. We were together. And he was like, what's up, you trying to dance?
Like, don't you see me?
Like, I'm like, is this big black nigga?
he
This
tried
old?
him.
Like, he did. And I was like, no, I'm good. And so, and he's like super cool. So he was like, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, I'm good. He was like, oh, that's your man?
Oh, these niggas bold.
Yeah, trying him.
Yeah,
he was ready.
Yeah, and
that's a
why I
fighting
said-
situation.
I was like,
That's when you try to
That's
nigga
why I
manhood,
don't
see if
take
he.
no female I talk to the club.
Yeah.
I was genuinely surprised. I was like, oh,
Because
okay.
niggas don't care.
Nah, they don't.
You know.
Really don't. But, you know, it is what it is. Ashley, how was your week? Give it a mic. Because we don't have an extra mic. Jesus.
It was wonderful. I'm working.
Are you
I'm
really
looking
working?
for. I'm looking for those sponsors. Where they at? Because
Wow.
I'm trying to pay these bills.
Jesus
Christ.
Trying to be a
I heard
sugar
Sport
baby.
One, the bar, was it Sport One?
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard they got some good sugar daddies
Oh
in
well,
there, girl.
I'll be there.
Yeah, they do Grown Man Tuesdays on at 7 p.m.
Oh, I'll be
You
in
can
there.
get in there and talk. Okay,
So
girl.
yeah,
Great.
so pay these bills.
Yes.
I can't even be mad at that. I really can't. I can't even.
Now I can.
Oh, sorry. So looking for sponsors.
Mhm.
Well, some more sponsors. I already got one, but
Ooh.
God damn.
We age.
But
The
let
average
me tell you
millionaire has
something.
7 streams of income. That's all I'm saying.
We can't do that.
I don't say sugar daddy. I'm gonna say sponsor because he like in his 40s, so that's
What's
not
this,
really sugar
casino?
daddy, you know.
Like the movie Casino or some shit? Like that's what they. You want to be a sponsor? She's like, yeah, be my sponsor.
Cause sugar daddy.
Some
is,
sugar daddies
you know,
prefer to be sponsors. You know, they want to like house you and
Oh
help
my
you out.
God.
You know,
Watch out for his drink.
I saw that on a documentary.
He's like,
And I have not given him any ass.
Okay, I was about to
And
ask.
he keeps on asking. I'm like, nigga, I already told you I wasn't giving you no ass. So
Fuck out of here, yo.
Maybe
Is
that.
that better? Nah.
I got a whole
Fuck
trip
out
to
of
Las
here.
Vegas and never gave no ass, no kiss,
Exactly.
no nothing. Just a hug.
they just want company
Yeah.
and conversation. I give you a kiss.
I hope all you niggas die yesterday.
I'm gonna sit my feet down next year.
Hop in the time machine, go back to
Yeah.
yesterday and just fucking die, yo.
Died yesterday. Damn. All right. So aside from looking for a sponsor, I mean, how are you dealing with this shutdown?
I'm actually, you know what? Thank God that we got bonus. I actually was like, well, let me not pay off these bills. Let me just. I was like, I knew something was gonna come, so I'm actually good. But if this shit lasts for more than they talking about years, or we won't be there. But I know it's gonna last
Oh, no, we
for
quitting.
years. But
Quitting.
but something needs to be done about that. Like this really getting ridiculous. But next week, I'm probably gonna be getting. I've been putting applications and stuff like that.
My bad, shit. Okay.
Nigga,
Nigga, you got Tourette's this year?
It's an advertisement,
What the
cuz.
fuck's wrong with you?
I can't.
Big
Come
titties.
to my conversation. I can't.
Bruh, you
I'm
got
done.
you cutting up.
Frat
What's up,
house.
kid?
Frat
So,
house. Frat house.
how was your week?
My week has been pretty gosh darn snazzy, I guess.
Snazzy.
Yeah.
G.
snazzy.
Wilkers.
I got to watch some pretty cool documentaries. I watched one on pimping. That was cool. I learned what gorilla pimping meant. That shit was cool.
What's the name of it?
Wait.
It was.
You watched
Netflix.
Trick or Treat?
It was on Netflix.
Pimps Up, Hoes Down?
No, it was something.
But why do you know all this?
It was like a whole series, and they
I've been
were
watching as a kid on
basically.
HBO.
It was a whole series, and they were basically talking about like the illegal market. It started with like guns, and then drugs, and then one was.
That sounds like something on
like the price of
Viceland. Was it on
sex.
Viceland?
No.
It was a Netflix special. I don't think it was
Oh,
that one though, but I think I saw that one too.
I know.
But yeah. So it was interesting, you know, just to see how the old pimps used to do it, how the new pimps do it. You know what I'm saying? The terms and whatnot. So that was interesting. I got a semi promotion.
Okay.
At the job, I got put on like a special team on my within my department.
Dang, am I the only one that clap for that?
He petty.
I'm not petty.
I
I
was waiting for her to finish talking.
Yeah.
So a lot of us applied. Only 2 of us basically got added to the team or whatever, and it was just a confirmation that networking and talking to people does make a difference. Because the man that's over the team, I had one meeting with him in April. It was like a 20-minute meeting, and I just kind of picked his brain about the direction that he took in the company. And when he saw my name, he was like, "Oh yeah, I want her on my team."
Oh, that's what's up.
So I was like, "That's dope. Like, cool. I can appreciate that."
Oh. I'll reply.
Yeah.
So
We
yeah,
got manners here.
that was that, and then
Just saying.
sometimes,
Touche.
I also got an insight. This is gonna sound real bad, but I don't know how else to put it. I got an insight into how lazy white people can be in corporate America.
Yeah.
How's that bad?
Well, because not all white people, but some white
Majority?
people. Some white people can be lazy in corporate America. Like we had a meeting and they were asking like what they could do better, and the stuff that they were asking them to do, it's like, bro, you could do that yourself. You've been here 8 years and you don't know how to do that shit. I've been here 9 months and I got it figured out. What you doing? And I know you don't do as much as I do.
They're waiting for you to do it.
Like it was so apparent. They were literally offended, and I was like, you really feel entitled to this, and then you wonder why you feel threatened. This is why affirmative action is such a hard thing for them, because that gets our foot in the door. But what gets us ahead is work ethic and talent. You can't get that if you expect stuff to be handed to you on a silver platter. Like
Exactly.
Amen to that.
But yeah. So yeah, it's a good week.
That's what's
Oh.
up.
Yeah, I'm good. I've been a little bit under the weather, but I'm feeling better. I hate the winter. Winter is fucking horrible.
Oh.
Only good thing about the winter is my birthday, niggas.
That's right.
When's your birthday?
Next weekend, 19th. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, we don't got no money.
You must have party with me before.
Yeah, we don't need too much money.
Oh, am I invited?
Yeah, everybody is. Well, not everybody, but I'll let you know. I'm hitting niggas Facebook wise, and I'm just doing something at the crib. I'm all weekend, so it's not like it's just Saturday night. No, like it's all fucking weekend. And the Pacquiao fucking Broner fight.
Well, you know what's the name? Well, I don't know if they still having it next week or not, but I know Keisha and Joe, they supposed to be having their baby shower, whatever it is. So I'm gonna talk to Joe. Damn, speaking of Joe. I forgot about that nigga. He's not even here.
But I've been good. Everything going good at work. I'm progressing, I should say. You know what I'm saying? Everything positive. I don't got too much to complain about. And yeah, that's it. I'm a virgin since New Year's. I set the reset button. I do it every year.
So how do you hit the reset button? Like what you gotta do? Is it like a physical thing or a mental thing? Just curious.
Nah, it's a button. You just press it. And like
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? All my numbers went away. I'm at 0.
So what you
They
say?
did that master reset on your phone?
I gotta be. I just gotta
He
be
did the
more.
master reset on his.
Oh, all
I
right.
just gotta be more careful with my virginity this year. I'm gonna try my best.
He hit the.
James Brooks said, "What's up?"
What's up, James?
Hi James.
I'm like, yeah, ladies, I'm trying to.
He's like, I'm
Save
trying
myself.
to
That's
be
the
a
new
one
approach.
woman man.
No, I gotta be
Save
pure.
myself.
He gonna start making gospel albums.
Damn.
That works.
He's like, yeah, you motherfucking hoes.
Trap gospel.
Not trap gospel.
They do got some rap gospel.
Trap gospel.
I don't know.
The guy from up in the
Yeah,
sky all the time.
which
The
McConnell?
truth.
Yeah.
Slave
The truth
number
is
for
the
the Lord.
shit.
Mama.
Sorry. I don't know.
That Glock.
Jesus. You know, my week is whatever. Not getting paid, you know, for right now. You know, everybody's in this uncertainty. And, you know, me personally, I've been through worse. I mean, that sounds crazy, but I've been through worse.
No, but it's like, what, the 4th or 5th one?
Yeah, it has, but I've been in the
I
situation.
keep saying we've been through, like I still work for TSA.
I mean, but you've been through it.
yeah, so.
Like, with somebody like me, like, I've been to the lowest you can be at. So something like this is like, yeah, it sucks, but it could be way where I could be homeless.
It's manageable, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I know how that feels. So it's like, all right, I don't want to get to that point again. So I'm good. This is one of those situations where, you know, you got to look at your management. You got to look at everybody around. Like, I know there's nothing y'all can do, but don't expect us to do certain things. Like, nah, we not putting up with the bullshit. Passengers coming through talking shit. We definitely
Just like
not with
today.
that. We not doing that.
Yeah,
We not about you ain't about to write me up because I called out because I ain't had no gas. It's like, dog, what you want me to do?
You know, you can get that loan from the priest.
Nah, no.
I read an article where they said 170 TSA workers were calling out per day.
Well, that was that's in JFK, but that's an everyday thing.
Is
See,
it?
this is the thing.
I mean, I don't know.
The media got a hold of that, right?
Yeah.
They try to blow it out of proportion. I'm like, there's like 5,000 officers there.
Oh, okay.
170.
Yeah, big JFK is.
No,
JFK
I've never
is-
been.
They got like 9 terminals, and each terminal is about as big as what? A school almost? Like,
Probably fucking Charlotte.
yeah. So, yeah, it was just like, fuck out of here. But
shout out to, But shout out to the police officers and the flight attendants because they've been showing us bad love. Like, I got a Starbucks gift card. We got candy delivered to the checkpoint and all that stuff like that.
That's what's up.
I mean, I like that. I like that.
it shows that people actually somewhat care. I mean, I don't expect everybody to give a fuck. I don't. I mean, it is what it is. But for the people who do understand the severity of the situation, I appreciate the ones like, yo, that's wrong. Even if they vote, like, there's people who voted for Trump and be like, yo, that's still wrong. I'm like, thank you. That's all I ever want. Just admit that something's wrong.
Yeah, I don't even let people make jokes about this shit. Like,
yeah, you told me.
Niggas at my job was trying. I'm like, nah, that's not even funny because I got people that work. I just TSA, but in the government. And I've been through that shit, yo. Like, I was out in Miami stuck. Like, you know, so I had to borrow money from my sister. I think that was the last time it happened.
That was like in 2015.
I was
13.
I'm like, yo, that shit is not funny. People are not getting paid. They still got to. This one girl was like, people still got to go to work. I'm like, yeah, that's the point. People still have to go to work.
It's called slavery.
That's illegal. Like, no, you're going to get paid. You're just not going to get paid when you're supposed to get paid. Like, people don't understand what the fuck going on.
They don't understand it's a slap in the face to people because we not only do we have to go to work and not get paid, but the people who really fault it is that we're in this predicament still get paid. That's like
right.
Did his cabinet get the $10,000?
No, they held off on it. They still get their paycheck. They just don't get their raise. So.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yo, so give that to us. What the fuck?
Here's the fucked up part about it. Trump didn't want to give us a raise over the summer, right? He said it was too expensive. But he want to put this $5 billion toward a wall. Put that money toward us and let us get our fucking money. Right. Fuck that goddamn wall. That's what I say.
Because, I mean, if you want to be honest, illegal immigrants can fly in too. Like, I'm just so confused.
Right,
like,
if they going to get over here.
This wall is not the end all be all. Like, what are y'all?
The wall is like his legacy on America.
Oh, yeah.
That's all
That's all he ever talked about. All to the campaign launch. That's all he ever talked about.
He built his campaign on that.
Yeah.
And I'm still waiting to see what happened to Mexico paying for it.
It's a lie.
No. Okay, so what he said today, he was like...
That's bullshit.
What I said was that they would pay for it, but it would be indirectly. I said,
he said that later, but they're also not paying for it indirectly.
I think he said it today when he went down there.
Yeah, they're not paying for it indirectly. Now what he's saying is they're going to pay for it through the trade agreement that America's going to have with Mexico.
But they debunked that because they said the trade agreement, that money goes back to
private
businesses,
to the
not
business
to the
owners
government.
who own it. So
right.
unless he's increasing taxes on private business owners, which he will not, because then they will just take their business outside of the country. It's not gonna happen.
Sounds like he just talked himself into a corner.
As he always does, and then he gonna say it was fake news, so it's cool. Whatever.
That man gotta run me my favorite. No, I mean, I seriously put on Twitter, @Donald Trump, run me my fade, dog. Run me my fade. Like, you gotta run me my fade at the end of the day.
NJ Brick City, come get these hands.
I'm like, yo, son, I'm like, hey, guys, I'm taking a trip up here to Washington.
You should be like, I'm gonna knock the Cheeto dust off your ass.
I'm gonna fart, cuz.
I'm gonna hit you with the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Like, come on, you little young punk.
You're gonna be like, yo, my hands are amazing.
And they're huge.
They're so huge.
They're huge.
They're huge. My hands, when I hit you, you will go into space.
I mean, no, seriously.
From Queens,
into space.
Queensbridge. The bridge. Like, yo, cut it out. Ash, you want to talk about your week?
Yeah.
He sound like Quiet Storm.
Right.
But it ain't even the right one. Nigga, that sounds creepy.
I'm about to say it sounds like Freddie Jackson. Quiet.
That's a Halloween special.
Oh, okay.
Wait, all right, I'll say something about my week. All right. I mean, my week has been good. Pretty much just chilling, trying to stay alive, out here in these streets, cuz.
Good, love. Yeah, love. Stay alive, love.
Yeah, I'm good, pretty much. Like, I saved enough money and stuff like that. It's just that I want my money and I need it now.
I'm telling you.
Hey, sponsors. Anyway.
He's coming with a bomb-ass jingle for you. Josh got you.
Especially Josh.
Yep.
Yeah, I've just been surviving, like eating ramen noodles, trying not to spend so much money on, like, a lot of expensive food.
Ian felt the other day.
I was eating what?
What's
I
that place
did not
called?
eat fish. I did not eat that. But you know,
You sound like Bill Clinton when he said I did not have sexual relations. You said it
I
did
did
sound
not have
believable.
sexual relations with that woman.
He come in with a Benihana bag. I'm just trying to cut back, y'all. You know, like, bruh.
What?
Now I do have a eat fun, so I mean.
Nah, it's like my girl just been cooking me some food.
That's
So.
nice.
Aw.
That's wonderful.
Oh, she left. I was gonna say.
Yeah, well, they'll be back. But, you know,
That's wonderful.
but that's pretty much it.
That's what's up.
Okay. You got something that's on the docket that we can talk about first, or do you want to jump right into something that I know everybody kind of want to talk about?
I don't want to talk about this.
I know
but I
I
wanna
don't want to talk about it.
We're gonna talk about it a little bit.
We need to-
We got to.
We can jump into it. For anybody who don't know, okay, it is the Surviving R. Kelly docu-series.
Let me get ready for
This
this.
past week, I feel like
Damn, I wish Joe was here. We got into it at work.
Oh, y'all did?
We didn't get into it, but we had
let
to
me-
talk about it.
I just want to say this. I don't really care to address him in general. I don't really care to know if, you know, people want to rally behind him or not. Like, I honestly didn't even finish watching it because it just put me in a bad headspace, so I just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
But I will say this. I've seen a lot of jokes and a lot of negative things said towards the alleged victims, or however you want to say it.
Mm-hmm.
That, in my opinion, is absolutely unnecessary. Cause there's a certain way to do things. If you want to support him, if you feel like this is just the black man whose legacy is being torn down, then you can just talk about him. You don't have to address the victims. To put themselves in that situation and to be that upfront about something so awful, that shit is difficult.
Mm-hmm.
That's why most people don't report in general, and they don't have to do it in front of the world. Like, and just doing that, villainizing them, shaming them, all you're really doing is showing the people that are closest to you, because chances are somebody you know has experienced that, you're showing them that you're probably not going to believe them either.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to create one of two things. It's going to perpetuate whatever predator attacked them, or possibly make them a predator because they're so angry. For all the people that are saying, oh, well, how could they be this dumb? They was old enough to leave. Until you've been a sexual abuse victim,
Right.
you do not understand. The same questions that you have about how could they be this dumb, why didn't they just leave, they ask themselves that same question every day. They have to go to counseling for years to get over the self-hate that they feel and the shame that they feel. That shit is unnecessary and unfucking called for, bro.
Yes.
And to be honest, if you haven't been a victim, you don't know what the fuck you would do in that situation. You don't. You don't. Some of these women were virgins when they met this man.
Mm-hmm.
So what that means is the first orgasm that they experienced, which is the first orgasm you ever experienced, that shit was a motherfucking what?
Maybe if they.
It's
experienced it.
associated with the man who has abused and allegedly abused and did whatever else to them. That in and of itself will fuck you up because you hate yourself because you enjoy this horrible act so much. And I don't think y'all really understand that shit.
They don't.
So if you support him, but don't bash people who are coming forward. That's all I gotta say.
Like, I want to say, like, I didn't watch it because we've been calling we knew R. Kelly been smashing young chicks
Forever.
for a long time.
Right.
My thing is, like, and I know, like you said, oh, like, because I've been heard people say, like, oh, if you ever been sexually abused, most people don't come straight out and go to the authorities or whatever, or blah, blah, blah. But why would you go to Oprah Network? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you're not going to the proper authorities to get this man off the street, like, if you want this man off the street, go to the proper authorities. Don't go get it checked and go on TV and blah, blah, blah. I'm not saying that's what's going on, but that's what it seems to me. Like, like if you, I don't know their situation, if they were volunteering to stay there. Like, did he kidnap them? Did he have them tied up in a basement somewhere? Like, what was the situation, y'all?
Well, it was, some of them were, they met, like, he would have, like, the bodyguards and stuff like that. He would meet them in the mall or, like, schools or whatever like that and slip in them numbers or parties.
Okay.
So he
then
used his
he had-
celebrity to...
Right. So to get, like, one of the girls, a Spanish girl, she wanted a record deal. And he was like, I can get you a record deal. So he used his fame to try to get him a record deal, for them to have a record deal.
Okay. All right.
I mean, and I understand that.
You need a grown. I don't know her age. All right, say
Okay, she was I think she was 17. Was she 17?
Oh.
I don't remember how old she was, but all she wanted to do was sing, and then she met R. Kelly. One of her bodyguards took her number, and he was like, "I can make you a star. I can make you famous," and people believe that though.
Yeah.
But 17 is legal, isn't it?
In some states.
Yeah, but still, he was like in his 30s or something. You know that's wrong because he even said, "Ask your mom if you could come to Chicago."
Okay, and mom said
she didn't approve of it.
Yeah,
but she said she was gonna do it anyway.
because she turned 18 in a little bit. So
right, so she was just like,
yeah.
just go ahead. So it's kind of the parents as well.
In any way?
Okay, I got a question.
That's one instance though.
I haven't.
No,
there's a lot of them on there.
I know you got more.
Even when they were legal, it's the what they experienced while they were
I'm not
there.
condoning this.
Like some of them said, one girl said they were talking about the basketball teams, and she was like, "Oh, I don't like the same team as you," and he was like, "Oh, okay, you don't. Well, you're not eating for the next couple days."
Yeah,
What?
it's like
Yeah, saying like that dude was terrible. Like chicks, you can't go to the bathroom.
His
at
own
this time.
wife, his own wife, who has been acting erratically, but his own wife said she had to ask permission to get food. And another person,
So he a control freak, basically.
huge, but he uses everything he can to control, like his celebrity, the money, the sex, all of that is used to control people. Like he has videotapes of these women, like
and he
if
tells
you
what
believe
to
in,
do,
you know what I'm saying, like.
So here's my question that I've heard some people talk about or whatever. I haven't watched it, so I'm just trying to get a clear understanding before I say this. Are we saying that the victims are the underage girls or just the women in general? Like, there's grown women who willingly
There are.
So are we calling them victims?
They're
still abused victims. Like just because you're over the legal age doesn't mean you can't be abused. Like
they were mentally abused.
You can still be trapped. You can still be all of those things. Stockholm syndrome is real and doesn't just apply to people under the age of 18.
Yeah, I watched the whole thing, like watching it, and at first, because I was going into it like, okay, let's see what it is. Let's see if it's, some of this shit sounds plausible. Because I looked at it, some of it, I'm not gonna lie, I looked at some of them parents like, yo, y'all gotta be the shittiest parents in the world to kind of let this shit kind of happen. And then some of it, I was like, okay, there's nothing you can do about it, because again, I don't want to blame anybody except for R. Kelly, because at the end of the day, you're an adult and you know what you're not supposed to be doing. Whether she's of age, young, it's wrong. You ain't supposed to do that. Hold on. So when it came to like one of the situations with the parents like, yeah, this is that we went to the R. Kelly concert, and the way he was explaining it at one point in time was like, yeah, I don't even know what was going on, and I don't know why he was talking to my daughter and this and that, and when I found out that she had went and hung out with him and this and that, I was kind of mad, but I was like,
he said that he didn't. He said, "Oh, sorry." He said that when he asked her to go on stage, and then he was like, "Well, I heard about him, but I thought my daughter would be different."
Yeah, and
I thought that was like what?
Exactly.
So you
see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like, bro,
so that was kind of awkward. That was awkward to me.
What I don't understand is where does the illegal fall in? I understand.
No, she was
some
young.
Of them are too young. Yeah, I understand.
She was young.
Sexual abuse is still an illegal act. Like that's still illegal. Legal age or not, rape is real.
But you can't keep people against their will.
You can't do that.
That was kidnapping. He was kidnapping. Like people want
to
know.
You know what kidnap is? If you say you leaving, I'm like no, and get in front of the door. That's kidnapping.
Yes.
No, there's more than one way of holding someone hostage. Exactly. That's the most literal way, but there is more than one way of holding someone hostage. If you say, "Oh, if you leave, I'm gonna release these tapes," that's holding somebody hostage.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, that just goes to show you, it's like fame is addicting. That's what it is. It's like fame. People just want to be famous. They want to, be with famous people. It just shows you that just that respect of fame just traps people pretty much. And like people focus so much on the fame, they forget that what they are, who they are. You know what I'm saying? It's like they could have said. I'm pretty sure there's a time when they were thinking that I don't have to deal with this, but the fame is what kept pushing them. It was like, okay, I'll deal with this once. And then it keeps going and going and going and keep doing it over and over again. So, they find themselves in a trap instead of just like, saying no. Because like, I'm pretty sure a lot of them had a chance, at a certain time to say no and get out of the situation. But they were looking at the fame and they thought, hey, I'm going to be famous one day, which is not necessarily the truth, but, they were just looking at that and R. Kelly was famous, obviously, and they were just looking at that, oh, he's going to support me for the rest of my life. No, you never know.
And that was my whole thing. It's like, you show, I don't care how young or old a chick is, like, you got a chance to be taken care of by one of the biggest stars in the world. Like, even if you, 17, 18, you get a chance to hang out with R. Kelly. You probably not even that old enough to know 12 play and all that, but you know that's R. Kelly. Mm-hmm. And he's footing the bill on everything. You thinking, oh, I'm about to get this record deal, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, that's was my whole mentality. Like, I'm not going to say they knew they was getting into, but they knew, like, oh, well, that's R. Kelly. They was trying to get something out the deal, basically.
All of them were not there for the fame, though. Like, one of the girls, she said that she stood outside his proceedings, court proceedings, or what have you, and she was 14 at the time. She was just a fan. She didn't want a record deal. She didn't want any of that. After the court proceedings were done, his bodyguard, I believe, slipped her, or got her number, slipped her R. Kelly's number, what have you, outside of the courthouse, like when he got free. Wow. He approached this 14-year-old girl. Now, mind you, she was skipping school to be there. However, she was 14. Like, 14-year-olds don't have good judgment. Like, we all know that. And then the question was, well, where is her mom? Well, she's a single mom. She at work. So he talking to her, oh, yeah, come by, come through, blah, 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 XYZ. At this time, she 15. Like, she didn't want, all she wanted was just to be with him. All she wanted was to be with him. That was it.
Yeah, but I guess what I got from what I was saying was kind of like the fame of R. Kelly. Like, maybe they didn't want to be famous, but because they weren't going to do that shit for Robert Smith, it's R. Kelly. Like,
but these things happen for people who aren't famous all the time. These things happen for people who aren't famous all the time. Like, people are held victims in abusive relationships all the time for regular ass niggas, broke ass niggas.
Yeah, but they don't have groupies like a whole documentary series of groupies of women who waiting by courthouses.
I wouldn't call them groupies.
No, but what I'm saying is,
if you're after him because of who he is and she's a fan of his.
Yeah, but she wasn't. He approached her. She wasn't after him. He approached her, and she obliged, but she wasn't after him. She said she was there for support. She didn't have any. And she said that there was no expectation for him to be like, "Hey, let's hang out afterwards." Like,
but here's the thing: if Justin Bieber, and knowing Justin Bieber's following, had done the same thing, I guarantee you, he would have been able to do the same thing as R. Kelly if he wanted to with these little chicks.
He could.
I think a lot.
I'm saying, but yeah, like you're right though. There's people out there that are, with regular people, that's doing the same thing. But the thing is, a celebrity is a lot bigger than those people. They can get a vast majority of those kind of people all at once. You know what I'm saying?
But to paint them in that light, to say, oh, it has to be the fame or like that, I feel like it takes away from their story. Like it just makes them seem like they're clout chasers, and that's not it.
Well, at the same time, no, I don't think they're chasing that. It's just that they kind of like become entranced in a way. It's not necessarily them chasing that kind of thing. It's like the fame just blows over their head. It becomes like this imaginary wonderland they have never been to before. It's almost like a high. That's what the issue is. The core of famousness is not necessarily the fame and what you get with it. It's how it makes you feel. Mm-hmm. That's what they're chasing. They're not chasing per se, oh, I'm going to get a whole bunch of... No, they're chasing that feeling that they get from being with R. Kelly and stuff like that. They're chasing the high of it, pretty much.
All right, but let's put it like this. Let's just change R. Kelly. Beyonce. We know how people get around her. So you tell me, and not even in a sexual way, people just want to be around her.
Yeah.
And I think it's kind of the same thing, you know what I'm saying? That even though I really feel like all right, let's bottom line, I feel like he's wrong. He's wrong as fuck. But he's just taking advantage of a situation, you know what I'm saying?
That's literally what he's doing.
Yeah, he's taking advantage.
Doesn't make it right still, though.
No, I said he's wrong.
Yeah, no, but that's the point I think everybody is I guess trying to make when it even comes to the documentary and all that shit. It's like, yo, yeah, you took advantage of a situation, but nigga, you didn't have to take advantage. When it came to the young girls, you definitely didn't have to do that. You know better. When it came to these older chicks, which obviously it wasn't many older chicks. Let's keep it funky. He ain't have a lot of older chicks. The oldest ones he might have been like
35.
Really? I don't know.
Yeah,
She was like 35.
yeah, she was a DJ or something like that.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
he didn't have many because obviously
And she
they
didn't
don't have
stick around
nothing.
that long.
They don't have nothing in common anyway. But it's just one of those situations where
I mean, the girl on the tape was 14, and allegedly she started fucking him when she was 12.
exactly. So that's even worse.
So here's the thing. On the side note of that, now they saying the feds is looking to investigate because
And that's what I want to know.
Fulton County is investigating.
So here's
what
the
are they investigating the pedophilia or the kidnap?
Fulton County
or?
is investigating.
I think the kidnapping because you can't.
Yeah.
That'd be
The kidnapping, but according to the DA in Fulton County, she said since that has aired, there's been more calls to the office with people with similar stories with him. So they're investigating a multitude.
So here's the thing. Here's the thing. My whole issue with it. If they investigating the kidnapping, that's one thing. If they investigating the pedophilia, and there's been people, I don't know if all those cases were in Illinois, of course, where you're from, or in Atlanta. If those people who were on that docuseries were known adults who were complicit in denying,
they need to go too.
Exactly. So that's my whole thing. If y'all don't take R. Kelly now, that nigga need to be in there like this shit bigger than Nino Brown, nigga.
If he can't read,
I'm taking everybody with me. Fuck that.
If he can't read and or write well, somebody was doing the shit for him. That's fact. So yeah.
Oh, everybody's
That's
been
just
saying
like
that.
his assistant or whoever it was, the guy, he was like
manager,
the one that forged Aaliyah's damn birth certificate. He did all of that shit. All of that shit. And he admitted to it.
How the fuck he wrote some of the greatest songs ever and can't read? That shit. Like, 'cause I didn't watch it, and everybody was like, "Yeah,
He didn't write them. He probably just was thinking about them. He don't write shit.
You probably
freestyle.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, and he definitely produced them. Like, he produced about.
Oh, he's great at that.
I was like, that dude is a fucking miracle, yo.
Do you think Sparkle should get the? She been getting the biggest brunt of all of the criticism.
So,
She
because the
been
girl
getting
in the video was Sparkle's niece, which I didn't know. And she
didn't know that shit.
Well, I didn't know that,
Yeah,
but she said because people
I
were like,
people were watching that tape
people were
on
like,
VHS.
oh, she was,
I didn't watch it.
she
Other
was
people were watching
guilty
it.
and all this other shit. She felt guilty about it, but let's be clear: when Sparkle, when she introduced her niece from her wedding, she said she introduced her niece to R. Kelly, but she never brought her niece there without her. Whenever she was there, her niece was with her, and she watched her. It was her parents, because her father is also his bass player, currently still his bass player. It was her parents that started dropping her off at the studio to be with him by themselves, and it was the young girl and the girl's parents that got up in the courtroom and said it wasn't them.
Right, she even said it wasn't her.
Yeah, she said it wasn't her.
But
everybody else said it was her.
her.
Yeah, and and she said it was 10 years before she spoke to them again. Sparkle.
Yeah, that's wild. Man.
That's the first time I ever seen somebody eating a butt.
What about some people arguing? And I just want to throw this out.
Okay.
I don't want to clip that
I'm not even lying. Son.
Yeah,
I
I heard about it. I never watched it. But,
I never watched
watched
it, but that's the
I heard
first
about it.
time.
But what about when people say that the reason that R. Kelly never got indicted or whatever is because his so-called victims were black girls? You think it would? What I'm saying is, do you think it would have been different if they were white?
Honestly, God, this is what I think. I think they were kids of poor black people from the hood, and they saw a check. The parents saw a check. Like, oh, maybe he'll get my daughter pregnant and blah, 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 and now they in the family. That's what I felt like. Because I don't
Well, no, I ain't even talking about that talk. I'm talking about the law enforcement knowing about it and trying to indict them if the women or the victims, if the girl in the tape was a white girl from the suburbs or a rich family, would he have been indicted or would have been charges that would have stuck
you
to him?
You still have to take into account their background, because a lot of that has to do with, they even said, like, in Detroit, like, or in Chicago, like, he has people, or he used to have, he only worth like $1 million now, but on his payroll, like, in the
R. Kelly only worth $1 million?
Yeah, that's his net worth now.
Damn.
Yo,
That's how much shit he had to pay out. It's a lot of shit that got settled out of court. It's more than just them. A lot of young girls got paid and they had to sign NDAs. A lot of them. A lot. But so you have to look at that too. Like the girl that the trial was over, you can't tell, her parents are set for life. Mm-hmm. Set for life. If that was a young white girl from the suburbs, her parents, they probably wouldn't budget that money.
Well, a lot of times, sometimes the public outcry is what they don't, maybe her parents wouldn't have budgeted or whatever, but I'm talking about the public outcry for justice, so-called justice. What do you think that would have been stronger? Because that's what I'm talking about.
I feel like Because when it happened, all this, I'm not going to say when all this stuff happened, but we didn't have the internet. Like, Twitter set this shit on fire. Like, social media set this shit on fire more than anything.
There you go. That's
I said, we
right on
didn't
time.
know about this shit. Like, niggas been making R. Kelly jokes. Niggas, that's
I told y'all the stories about some of the dudes that I know that was, getting their music produced by him, and the stories that they told me about how, he was dealing with, these young girls and all that shit. Like, so that whole documentary, Monster G, like, it also shed some light just on his psyche itself, and like his older brother, who's that nigga deserves to stay in jail. That nigga probably is he probably in there raping niggas too, or getting raped. I don't know what's going. Son, he was like, I like older chick. He's like, I like older joints, and he like the younger ones. I'm like,
he a new booty warrior?
Nah, bro. This is what he says. Because the other brother, because you remember they try to blame it on the youngest brother, saying like that wasn't me, that was him. So the oldest brother was like, yeah, you stupid as fuck. I done went ahead and just said, yeah, it was me. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, you butt. So, and the dude was like, yo, I got kids. Like, nigga, do you understand how that would impact my life and their life? I said, oh yeah, that was me. I'm gonna take the fall for this motherfucker. Now I gotta register as a sex offender. I probably can't even be around my kids.
Well, here's the thing: if they didn't have to say like all they had to do was say it was a possibility. Like the lawyers, the defendant's lawyers, their responsibility is to create a reasonable doubt. That's all they have to do. Reasonable doubt. And the fact that he had already played his double in a video made reasonable doubt. So he never had to say anything. He would not have had to go to the stand and say, oh yeah, that was me. He just didn't have to say anything at all. They just would have presented it as a possibility. That's all they wanted to do. That would have been enough for reasonable doubt. But they didn't need it again, so.
My question is, remember, R. Kelly's already been known as doing this shit before. Mm-hmm. Why is it just coming up now when it's a documentary on TV?
I mean, I don't think it's just coming out now.
I know, but I mean, why is it everybody focusing on it again when it just...
Because he put out Step in the Name of Love, so...
That's just like, they should have been done with
anytime R. Kelly did some shit, he put out a banger.
And you gotta look at when he originally got indicted, it was 6 years before that case went to trial. So the alleged girl that was on the tape, by the time they got to the courthouse, she was 20 years old. So you gotta look at how that affects the jurors that are on the stand. Like, it's way easier to look at a 20-year-old versus a 14-year-old and be like, oh,
you gotta look at it like
that's
this.
bullshit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and then also like in the black community, I mean, like they say, black they just call us fast.
I don't think it's just black because
they call young black
girls get away
fast.
with fucking crime.
Fast, yeah. I've never heard a white girl referred to as fast.
Yeah,
heard her call sluts.
Get away with crime.
White dudes call it like she's being a whore.
Yeah, but I'm talking about within the family. Like within the family, they're considered quote unquote fast.
And one of the jurors said that the reason why he did a not guilty verdict because one of the people on the stand was dressed provocatively, like they would have their chest out and stuff like that, and he was like, "I did a not guilty."
Let's go.
Wait. We got Joe Cool, average Joe of all trades.
The devil teacher.
Teaches white devils.
You can't even teach devils, but anyway.
Oh!
The reasonable doubt thing, and the girl in question stated on the stand that it wasn't her in the video, right? So that really won the case for them. But as I was talking earlier, the whole case illuminates the idea that people don't love their own children, for one, and people don't love themselves. Because if those were in check, none of this would have happened at all. Because you have somebody who's probably molested at a young age, and when you get molested at a young age, you then have affinity for that age. Whoever molested you, you have affinity for that person at that age. So, for example, if I'm 7 years old, molested by a 14-year-old girl, for the rest of my life, I'm gonna have a problem with being attracted to 14-year-old girls. That's when you're programmed, right? Yeah. So it's like if I'm 14, if I'm 7, raped by a man, I'm gonna be attracted to men for the rest of my life. That's just something that's just psychologically the case, right?
That sucks.
That's not always the case.
No,
that's not always the case.
No, nothing is always.
It's not an absolute.
Well, no absolutes in the world. What I'm saying is that
it could happen.
That people that I know that have had that scenario, that is the case. That like if that's something that they struggle with because the age is that anything happening from birth to 7 has more significance than later on. But that's not an excuse to say that, but that anything should have happened. But the parents basically pimped out their daughters for one, because you know who he was. For the cause, the group that the girl was in, right, was produced by R. Kelly. The father was the bass player for R. Kelly. The uncle, Hankerson, was his manager, and Sparkle is his aunt. So I know I've had a niece who came to my friends and myself and said she was raped, statutorily raped, by a 25-year-old when she was 15. That person almost died that night when we found out, except the fact that she told us that he basically finessed it. He didn't necessarily hit her. Or he would have died. What happened? He went to jail because we went to Special Victims Unit, myself and my girlfriend at the time, and got him locked up. He spent 3 years for a statutory rape. So the fact that none of these parents, none of these uncles, none of these aunties at the time did anything is more indictment on the lack of love for real, for children. And the women, for example, lack credibility, because even some of the ones on the show, on other interviews, like K. Michelle, talking about how R. Kelly saved her life, talking about how, I think Shoshonda, when somebody the girl that went to the court, she was 16, got picked up by R. Kelly. Bubba, his recruiter, who's also his gay lover, right? According to her. Look, if you Google Bubba and R. Kelly right now, you will get pictures of his gay love.
Actually, I've heard about some shit.
Bubba, I'm not surprised.
That's from her. That's from her. That's from her, right? So okay, so this person,
Bubba Sparks.
Bubba and R. Kelly, right? His real name's Jermaine, according to her, right? So now this person went on a show like a victim, right? Well, okay, so she says, she's been traumatized by R. Kelly, blah blah blah, and then after she finishes dealing with R. Kelly, who she go with? Bubba. Then she engaged in a relationship with Bubba. So my thing is, just because somebody says they're traumatized, doesn't mean they're traumatized. Because most of this whole world is devilish, by and large. Okay, because women, especially the 30-something-year-old women, women are getting kicked to by different guys all day long. You are selecting that dude for a reason. You know what I'm saying? You can't deny that people love the devil, right? Because you a nice, sweet guy, you're not getting that attention. He's getting that attention for a reason. It's an indictment on people, celebrity worship, because that's not going to change, right? Because you go to All-Star Weekend right now, right? You go to any event right now. This is not every woman, it's not everybody, but by and large, our society today, when Safari came to Charlotte, right?
He came to Charlotte? I didn't
even
know that.
That's just CIAA. He had dozens of women grabbing on him.
Yeah, because they saw that dick picture.
All right, so understand. If you don't like
why
this,
you looking like that, Ash?
If you don't like this example, this is still gonna go on. It's just that he's now the person of interest. But in the future, if future is called it's surviving future, and somebody says to me, "Well, I didn't know he was gonna give me drugs." You can't tell me that. He always sings about his drugs. Right? It's the same thing with R. Kelly. So you gotta be reasonable with yourself.
And you know the crazy thing that people's about to start doing? Like, shit. People are going to probably offer up the daughters just hearing this shit. Because people are freaking crazy.
They're doing that.
They're going to do it. I know, but they're going to, they're going to just, throw them out at him now.
So
I'm like, what the hell?
The father and the mother and the daughter go to R. Kelly concert.
Thank you. That's not even the
and then you let her go on stage.
I
have 3 daughters. I'm not gonna let my daughter go on stage with R. Kelly at 16. No. You offer your daughter up, period. It's about the parents not loving their children and the women not loving themselves. Because none of the young daughters, if he was sleeping with minors, then he should have been charged with something. And the only ones that weren't coming to the table on court, the girl's father didn't come to the court, the girl's mother didn't come to the court, the girl's auntie didn't come to the court. Nobody came to the court to support that young girl.
Sorry,
the girl's auntie was there. She testified.
Sparkle
was there.
Sparkle put her on though.
Sparkle said that this is what Sparkle said. She brought her to the studio. When she brought her, she was with her. She said when she was alone with R. Kelly, it was her parents that dropped her off. She had no idea that was happening. That's what Sparkle said. And when she saw the tape, when she found out and she saw the tape, she went directly to the police and didn't talk to her brother or the child's mother for 10 years because she couldn't believe that they was just like, oh, this didn't happen. Like, are you kidding me? So...
Sparkle at the time in 1999, it was said that as her auntie, she introduced R. Kelly.
And she said that.
For what?
Yeah. Because she was a rapper and she wanted her to meet R. Kelly and get a feel for the business. That is what she said. And she said when she brought her to the studio, she was always with her.
Again, as a father, as I have 15 nieces, I'm not bringing my niece to meet R. Kelly and then putting her in a position to be alone by herself. You gotta love your children, all right? So, you have to love your nieces. It's just not something that should happen. R. Kelly's wrong. Sparkle's wrong. The parents are wrong. That's the bottom line, because if it happened, because it's not going to change anything by blaming one man, because it's a cultural thing. It ain't just him. Look at Rick James. Rick James is doing a lot of the same things R. Kelly's doing.
Yeah.
I mean, BBD. I mean, what? BBD, right? Bubble the Vote.
Yeah.
Backstage, underage. Jay-Z, Foxy Brown. Foxy Brown was in high school.
Parents should be like supervising the kids while they were.
Yeah, I mean, these are not. It's not going to change.
Yeah, Foxy did say Jay-Z took her virginity at like 15 or something.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what did people think about? Did Dame Dash kind of throw Jigga Man under the bus saying he was fucking with Foxy underage like that?
I mean, he admitted that he looked at Beyonce at 16 and said, "That's gonna be my wife." So these are facts.
Oh, I didn't
yes, he said that out of his mouth.
Yeah.
What I want us to do, definitely, because we don't want to take this away from the people who really are victims.
Right.
So, and I agree with some of the things you're saying, John, because a lot of it doesn't make sense. You have to blame. Everybody should be at blame for this. Honestly, everybody should be at blame for certain situations. There are some people who, I guess, when it comes to the kidnapping thing, I don't know. I guess you could, without being insensitive, you can somewhat see why. I can't blame them, but I can see why. But I can also have empathy. You know what I'm saying? That's the whole thing. I think a lot of people lack empathy for the situation because they kind of feel like, well, if it was me, I wouldn't have done this. It's like, that's fine, because that's you. You think on a different spectrum than everybody else. You know what I'm saying? You might have common sense. Some people don't have that. You know, it is what it is. You got to have some empathy when it comes to some of these women. Because when I watched it, I always knew Kels was a wild dude. I'm watching it, I'm like, okay, this nigga's wild as fuck. Like, oh, he gets this chick, was like, yeah, you're a female, now I'm going to start making you dress like a dude. Mm-hmm. And now you're going to be my boy toy. It's like, wait, what?
But didn't he have a daughter? Didn't he find out his daughter was like the wild butch and disowned her?
I don't know, but I just know that he took a chick and made her cut her hair and get boyish start features, and she just started doing that. Like, yo, you telling chicks they can't go to a bathroom at a certain time. He out here beating chicks up and all that shit. I'm like, yo, this dude was a wild dude at the end of the day.
But I feel like I think not just him, but men, it's a power thing. Mm-hmm. Because these dudes get all this money and get all this pussy thrown at them, they're not to walk. Because I always felt like this, to the point they'd be like, man, I'm tired of all this pussy. Let me try some blah, blah, blah. Let me try this. Let me punch a bitch in the face and see if I go to jail and shit like that.
Jesus
like,
Christ.
Like I said, it's a power thing. They get tired of the same old regular, like, some more pussy. That means like.
No, I get what you're saying.
I think it kind of
you do got people who go to different countries and go kill people.
Yeah.
So I mean, some people, when you got that much money, that much power,
yeah,
you
you
can do
can
whatever.
pay somebody that kidnap somebody. You can shoot them in the head.
It's extra for an American.
Yeah, it is, because they really don't like us. But
Who?
nah, people in other countries, they always want to kill us.
They like us. They don't like them. Us. We're good everywhere.
No, I get what you're saying on that. No,
We're good.
So, look. I got it.
They don't fuck with them.
But
those guys.
I mean, because I didn't want us to spend way too much time on it, but this was something that, you know, when we first talked about it last week, we did talk about it a little bit, but that's when it first started. Now with it, like everything coming out, I feel like there's a lot of different sides on it. I mean, we're gonna probably, you know, go to another subject, but I wanted to leave, you know, at least on this note. Again, I'm not one to judge. I can't sit there and say blase swaze, because again, I haven't been in that situation. I don't know anybody really in that situation. Not that I know of personally. I mean, I might have some family members, some, you know, cousins or whatever that's going through that. You know, whether it's R. Kelly, whether it's, you know, whatever regular dude on the street, whether it's Joe Schmo. I was like, yo, let me not say that. I was like, yep, that's it for the podcast now. They gonna be like, white devil teacher. They're like, no, he didn't do it. I'm like, no, we heard it on the podcast. That shit's true. No. But nah, like if it's regular, whatever dude, you know, I don't care who it is, anybody, because I saw a lot of people like, oh, why is it okay for this person? But it's not. I'm like, it's not okay for nobody. This is not a black and white thing. This is just bad.
Kevin Spacey do some shit too now?
Yo, Kevin Spacey's always doing some wild shit. It's like this: whoever is a predator, you gotta get them the fuck out of the paint. It's that simple. And I know if I have kids, right? If I have a daughter, I swear to God, my daughter's not going into no shit like that. If I hear that whatever young Flim Flam, whatever the fuck his name is, out here having sex with 12-year-olds, guess what? My daughter is not going to that concert. It's that simple.
Like that, I want to meet young Flim Flam.
I'm going to uppercut the shit out of it.
You just talking about abuse.
But no. Not physically. I'm going to mentally uppercut her by taking away her game box or her phone or some shit. I don't know what's going to be called at that time. It's going to be razzmatazz. I don't know what the fuck. But what else? 12. Exactly. What else you had on the docket, Kia?
Well, it hasn't been really a whole lot of happy stuff that went on this week. So
what's that? Oh, girl got
oh yeah, we can go there. Golden Globe Awards. Is that what you're talking about?
No, I'm talking about the chick that was in the.
Centoya.
Yeah.
Yeah. She got parole. Woohoo! She will be getting out in August.
What's up?
She will then be doing a 10-year parole.
That's
probation. Yeah, probation period. She'll be doing 10 years. And I do hope that after being institutionalized for 15 years, you are institutionalized. So I hope that they do some. I hope that they do some kind of rehabilitation to help her reacclimate. And everybody that was picketing or boycotting, thank you.
What's going on?
Or protesting or what have you for her to get out. Y'all need to be right there trying to give her a job.
Yeah, like, is there anybody going to be taking care of
her mixtape
when she get out?
I mean, she has a degree. She just needs a job. She has her associate.
She has an associate. She gonna come out and she's gonna
I'm hoping somebody
can
help her.
Yeah, somebody needs to give her a job. Like, she's free, so help her out. So, I mean,
What's free?
Son, we've been good for like 2 weeks, yo.
That shit gonna be crazy.
Son, it has not been no ignorant shit for like 2 weeks.
Son,
Jesus Christ.
Everybody go to, like, Boosie, all them came out with the 5 mixtape. Why she can't come on? Well, she's in there writing bars, nigga.
Probably good. That's true.
She come out with the bars,
nigga.
Yeah,
so that was that. And shout out to Miss Regina King. She won an Oscar for Best Supporting Actress in If Beale Street Could Talk. If you haven't seen it, go see it. I'm going to see it again this Saturday.
Is it out? I just saw the commercial today.
And they're only playing it in one theater in Rock Hill, as far as I know. So it's not in all theaters.
There's only one in Rock
Hill. Go figure, Well, it's not even the one in Rock Hill. Actually, it's the one in Pineville. But
damn, Rock Hill sucks.
Oh, it wasn't at whatchamacallit either. SMG, it wasn't there either.
Oh, okay.
No.
SMG don't care.
So yeah, if y'all get a chance, go see it.
Yo, I also heard about the Golden Globes. Like, Black Panther,
they won a damn thing.
Like that movie was so.
But they said the Golden Globes is like not. I mean, the Oscars is really.
Yeah,
the Golden Globes
is like between your peers. Like,
that's nothing. That's
like nobody cares about the Golden Globes. They just go
there.
there.
Nobody
get dressed.
It look good.
It's more for comedy than anything because that's what people watch it for. Like the comedic shit.
Yeah, they made a joke with Ryan Coogler and he was like,
I'm not fond of this shit.
That's
fucked up because I like Andy.
Yeah, they said somebody tried to connect Black Panther movie to the Black Panther part.
Well, there are people like I know a person when we talked about the movie, they were like, "Wait, you mean like Black Panther?" And I was like, "No, the comic, bro." What do you mean?
I got the joke. It wasn't a great joke, but it was a joke.
It was a joke.
But I thought Stan Lee kind of created it like during that time period.
He did create it during that time period.
I think he did it to be like,
no, Stan Lee was always woke. Like,
always.
He's always woke.
Yeah, I forgot. You young, you don't remember that shit.
Shut up, homie.
Yeah, like I tell people like X-Men, fucking.
Yeah, that's about us.
Professor Xavier and fucking.
Malcolm X.
Malcolm X. Shout out to MLK on my birthday.
Don't tell me you didn't know that, kid. Malcolm X and was it Martin Luther King?
I got the personalities reversed.
No, that's literally where that's the.
No, Magneto is Malcolm X by all means necessary.
Now we talked about that. We talked about Stan Lee. She was here. We talked about that.
I went to the bathroom. It was like a long conversation. I zoned out.
Christ.
Did y'all hear about that? I know it's all thought. The meteorologist that said Martin Luther King. And they were taking up on him like this.
They were like, bro. Then somebody was like, "That's what you call a Freudian slip." He been saying that shit.
Right. He was like, "It's gonna be 99. It's gonna be 65 degrees today." And happy Martin Luther King. I mean King Day.
No, man, I don't think he should have got.
Wow, stop yelling.
What?
Damn.
Shut the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Damn,
Go ahead,
My bad. He was loud in our ears.
Jesus.
They let that nigga go.
No, not you.
I don't think he should have got fined.
Why
That was a legitimate slip up.
He should have been furloughed.
It was a slip up.
Coon King.
I think they should have grabbed the nearest black person and let him fade that nigga on TV. Like, yo,
And then he
you
could
can
have
keep
kept
your
his
job, but you gotta
Martin
catch his
Luther
fade
King. Oh, okay.
on
You
TV.
don't think he should get fired?
Martin Luther King.
That shit is hilarious.
That means he says that at home all the time. Or he just told somebody a joke about that like 5 minutes earlier.
Or he heard it.
Yeah, that's
You know what I'm saying?
He
So
heard it joking
he's
loud.
like,
right
he's
before
like,
he
hey,
was on
Martin Luther King. Oh, are we on? Yeah. 65 degrees and Martin. Yeah, fuck out of here. Nigga. You just said that shit.
Well, did y'all hear about the black rapper from North Carolina? I don't know where.
Oh, someone said that white people
Let
say
white
nigga.
kids say nigga. He made a song called "Let White Kids Say Nigga."
Oh,
We're not gonna play it.
Where in North Carolina is this motherfucker?
I'm gonna say I'm not gonna promote it.
Yeah, but it's a song and it says "Let White Kids Say Nigga," and his
That
reasoning
shit's going nowhere.
How about this? Okay.
That shit's going nowhere.
I mean, they can, you know.
Yeah.
I think the implication
They have
was
the right to say what
let
they want
them
to
say
say.
it with.
It's the
I was
consequences.
about to
that
say,
they
I
don't
think the
deal
right
with.
is to let them say it without
That's why I tell
consequences.
people.
But I did listen to the snippet that was shown, and he was just basically saying, I mean, at this point, we all niggas like it's not a color thing. It's a. He didn't say this, but this is how it came off. I don't think he had the vocabulary to say so, but it's more of a socio-economic thing.
He's trying, but like, my man, you feeling it.
Yeah, he young.
Yeah, he looks young.
He's stupid
he
because
looks young.
cut it out.
That's one of those. That seemed like one of them clout chasing songs that cross controversy so he can get views online.
Yep.
Because he knows that's a stupid cause.
It is.
You're just trying to get views and have a controversial
do some
song.
shit like
That's
that.
the classic shit niggas trying to do nowadays.
Yeah.
We need to do some shit like that.
You could use something
Feel
else,
free
bro.
to die, young
Use
Yeah, that's Young Flip Flam.
That's
Young Flip
That's Young Flip Flam.
Feel free
I
to
wish his
die
mom would've
at any
swallowed.
time.
But this is some people, some black people, a good amount, good enough for this to be a thing, do feel this way. They do feel like, oh, we give the word too much power and we need to just move on. It's just a word these are things that I've heard people say.
Oh, that's
So,
like I said.
It is how some people feel.
I feel like if you want to say nigga, say it all day. But when you run into a nigga, and a nigga want to do nigga shit, and you're not about nigga shit, you gotta handle that consequence.
You gotta pass that nigga, not all niggas.
I had a white homeboy. I was just talking about this shit today and yesterday. He was adopted by a black family. So we all in the car chilling, like yeah. So he was like, you know what I'm saying? He was cool. Like he was one of them dudes that I don't like the term acting black, but he acted how he thought black people act.
Well, he acted the way he grew up around.
I was about to say,
It
was
what
it because how he acted or the culture that he was around?
Because he didn't act like that around white people.
Oh, okay.
So when he get around his black friends now, his hat turn around and.
But he walks, what's up, my homie?
And he
So when he be around his family, like, hey, Susie, how are you? Then he see you like, what's up, G?
I don't fuck with white people like that, blah, blah, blah. But like he wasn't trying to be corny.
What's up, G?
So we all in the car, and I'm like, we chilling, and you know, we put Jay-Z, that nigga Jigga. And he was singing with pride. My homie was like, yo, what are you doing? Like, you cool, but you can't sing that song. You can't say that word.
Oh, and just say Jigga. Like,
and his thing was, but that was his fallback was like, I was raised by a black family. Like, yeah, that's cool, but you can get beat up by black people. I can't stop black people from fucking you up.
I mean, and when police pull you over, they don't see that you were raised by a black family.
Yeah, so we was like, so my man was like, yo, chill out. I told him like, yo, I can't stop them from whooping your ass.
Right.
I can't. At this point, I might have to jump in or
I might have punched you with them niggas. Like, I can't stop.
I just met you. I've been through these niggas. Like, sorry. And plus, I just felt like, why? Like, I'm not gonna hit you.
Why you do it?
After I whoop your ass, I'm gonna help you up. Like, you okay? You learned your lesson? Let's move forward.
You like, why you let them niggas beat me up? Shit.
I gotta beat your ass. Hey, y'all, come back real quick. You got some more nigga beating that dude.
You said it again? Yeah, he said it again.
Yeah.
Hard.
You can be like, man, I thought you was my nigga.
Fuck. Now,
he said, I didn't say it. No, like, I didn't say it.
Drive us home.
And you gotta
drive all us home. That ass whooping.
You know what they say though?
I can only see out of one eye, guys.
They be like, I didn't say the hard ER though.
I said nigga.
I said the A.
Nigga.
I just gave you a soft left. That was a hard right. Yeah, so like I had to tell him, like, yo, son, chill out, son, because I can't control if they fuck you up or not, you know.
Son, you remember we kind of had that situation when we was in Miami and your boy said that shit that one time. We just kind of looked at him like, all right, G. When we was sitting in the living room that time, he had said something like,
what about an ass bash? I wasn't there for it.
Oh, shit.
Oh, yeah.
My man slipped up.
Yeah.
And the DJ stopped the music like,
oh, shit.
They told me about that.
How about this?
I know he was scared as shit.
Corey, we all looked, we was like, hey man, let me talk to you real quick.
Black people.
We was like, hey, don't say that shit again. Like, you good because you drunk right now. Like, we kind of let that slide.
Surrounded by black people. So you jumped in a freaking den of the lions and shit. You say, and you sitting there like, with meat on yourself, like.
You gotta know your surroundings.
Yo.
That's all people ask. Like, don't just jump out the window. Like, I might be cool with it. I might not give a fuck.
You gotta, like, test the
water.
But
Sean might give you a 2-piece and a biscuit, and I'm like, hey.
Oh, you gonna choke.
Speaking of the word, nigga, have y'all seen the new Trevor Noah comedy, Son of Patricia?
I think I watched it.
It's hilarious. Like, I died laughing at it.
Netflix?
But yeah, Netflix. So there was a joke in there where he was like, in his native tongue, Tulsa. His mom, like, niga means to give, like, you have to give.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he was like, you know, that doesn't really have an effect on us because on the Africans, because we don't have that same history. So he was like, you can hop off a plane talking about nigga if you want to, but they gonna be like, hey, nigga. he was like, no, it's not me, it's you. And they was like, but you saying it, so you nigga. Like, so I was laughing about that. But he said it was a racist white guy in a pickup truck, and he went to like step into the crosswalk or whatever while the traffic was coming. So he swerved around, and the dude was like, nigger, and he was like, what's up, my nigga? And so it was like the white dude, like, he was like, I was like, bro, that shit is hilarious.
What about his little cousin had the toy, and his mom was like, nigga. He's like, nigga, please.
Trevor, nigga,
please.
What about the video? I don't know if it's true or not, where the white kid was at the spelling bee, and the word was niggas.
Oh,
it means
that's true.
No, that's true.
Yeah,
that was true?
Yeah, I thought that was true.
I thought that was just like a funny
thing. I mean, because
niggas.
Niggas is like an Amharic word meaning like king.
Yeah.
But it's pronounced the same as niggas. But it's like, and he Yeah.
He paused like,
No, he was like, can you use it in a sentence? When you guys go to the store. One of them.
Yo, if I'm that kid, though, I'm like, yo, okay, so the person who said the word, right, told me to spell it was way. I'm like, yo. If I'm the kid, I'm like, yo.
She was that serious. She was like, can you spell niggas? It's like that, right? The kid was like this.
Yeah, that's what I said on Facebook. I was like,
meaning?
Finished in a sentence. Niggas. And an Ethiopian emperor is a niggas, right? She's like,
the funniest thing I ever seen about that word is the South Park episode where they was on Wheel of Fortune.
Oh,
and the dad was like, he was like, yeah,
you're like people that get on
your nerves, like that. It starts with N and ends in S. He was like, niggers. He was like, the word is naggers.
Oh, so your boy's walking around talking. Like, hey, it's that nigger guy. He's like, we gotta get that word abolished, nigger guy. Wait, what? They had to do from Kramer's. They had a bunch of other people who said nigger.
Hilarious.
Yeah. Like they had people like, we don't like people who say nigger guy. This shit was stupid as fuck, guys. But hey, that black dumb nigga, don't go out there telling people white people that's cool to say it.
I don't even know the child name.
That's Young Slim Flammery.
That's a lot.
That's Slim Flammery Razzmatazz.
I'm mad from the state.
Yeah,
North Carolina. So on a
I'm
more,
glad he's not from South Carolina.
hey,
Yeah.
I know. On a more,
I'll take that.
on a more morbid note, did y'all hear about Jasmine Barnes, the 7-year-old?
Nah, this is what that happened in Houston.
Yeah, in Houston.
Yeah. Hold up. Now, was it where they shot in the car and they killed her? Did they find out who?
So that's the interesting part about the story to me. So according to the people that were in the car, and I think they said there were 4 or 5 witnesses around when it happened, they all saw a white guy in a pickup truck and said that it was him. Like to the point to where one of the witnesses actually chased the white guy down.
Okay.
Later on, the social media activist Sean King offered a $35,000 reward to find the perpetrator. One of a black guy, according to what I saw, a black guy came forward and said that it wasn't this white guy. It was him and another guy. He was driving. The other guy did the shooting, and they were actually shooting after a gang member, but they had the wrong car. So now they've arrested the guy that said he was the driver, and they're looking for the other black guy. It sounds real sketch to me. Like, it sounds like a cover story that isn't, like...
So who are they covering for? Because if they not the right people, and it
that's
was a white guy, somebody just got away with
it. It sounds
murder.
like somebody got paid. That's what it sounds like to me. It sounds like somebody got paid. That's what it sounds. I don't know. It's so weird because it's like, I mean, the girl's mom was sitting in the car. She was sitting in the car when the little girl got shot.
So it's like
she had direct vision. You know what I'm saying? 4 other witnesses were looking on to this as it happened. So all of them saw what they thought was a white person hold out a gun and shoot, but apparently it was 2 black guys in a whole different car. Like, how you miss?
So it could have been somebody.
How you miss that shit? Like,
so it's like somebody could be like, "Yeah, bro, you go ahead and take the rally."
I'm just trying to figure out. Well, I don't know who got the I don't think he got the 35 views for turning himself in.
No, I'm talking about somebody. Did he turn himself in or somebody turned him in? Like,
no, the guy that was driving turned himself in, according to what I saw.
So like I had the same thing, and the story sounded convoluted. But what I read was that, all right, so it was a red pickup truck. The sister's in the back, and the mother sees a white dude with a beard pull off, shoot in the car and pull off, right? So now the cops say that they stopped the black guy in a Kia, in a green Kia, right? This is what I read. And this is what they said though. They said they stopped the car for like a tail light being out, And then they smelled weed in the car and took them into the station for weed, right? Then somehow during the weed arrest, he cops to this murder.
Mm-hmm. And even says that he has the gun at the house.
And he went back to the house.
Yeah.
But the pickup truck was a rental car.
Listen to this shit.
But his boy is like, they have another guy in custody, but he's not being charged. It's really convoluted, but...
So did they find a murder weapon?
No.
That's a great question.
They did say they found a murder weapon that matched the ballistics, but that's all I heard about it.
Oh, okay.
Since then.
Yeah.
That's it.
But this was the murder weapon that the guy allegedly said, or that the guy said was at his house. He said that he just felt so guilty about it. They didn't mean to shoot her. It was supposed to be for a rival gang member, and he just felt bad. And it just sounds like too many stereotypically black things. And I say stereotypically because that's not all black people. But you got weed, you got gangbang, like.
So wait. So a white guy did not do it?
Right. I mean.
So you tell me the white guy didn't do it?
It's not.
Obviously, he just wasn't there.
Did somebody have a sniper rifle on a building or some shit doing this shit?
That's the part that I failed to understand. Like this white guy would have literally had to drive by and the other car drive up. Essentially at the same time.
Well, you sure they weren't trying to shoot the white guy, and it kind of happened to be them?
Bruh, I don't know.
Weird shit.
I don't think any of that happened because it was what? It was like 7 a.m. in the morning.
I don't know no hood niggas that
I
be
don't
drive by
know. It's very
7 a.m. in the morning.
Who the
fuck out here doing drive by?
I'm about to get the sausage big and I'm gonna shoot
And
some
what
niggas
gang
up,
bangers
bro.
do you know that?
Early birds gang.
Bro. And who turning themselves in? There's a lot of dead kids out here in these streets with random gunfire. And ain't nobody turning themselves in. So, that shit crazy though.
I ain't got nothing to say about it.
I don't know what to say about it.
I don't. Like, I know about it, but ain't much I can say. The shit sounds, fishy as fuck.
I want to wait till everything's
I'm gonna give it about a week.
out. Yeah,
we'll give
It
it a
just
week.
sounds
See what
insane.
happens.
And then one of the police officers then, because of course they're asking about this, like how is it that all these people said they saw this, but now it was 2 black guys, and it was like, oh well, was it eyewitness account? It's not as reliable as you think it is. Oh, now it's not as reliable.
shit, because I sure will be on first
It's
48.
a lot of
That's all they
niggas in
rely
jail.
on.
Right? It's a lot of niggas in jail. What did you
The whole
say?
show on eyewitness account.
What did you saying? I was like,
Did you see Dookie shoes?
When that nigga Mike gets
Little stank.
give me a cigarette and a Big Mac, I'll tell you everything. I'll tell you
bro,
everything.
did y'all see the video where the cop went to the hotel room and he was trying to get the room key? And he was like, oh, well, who rented the room? And he was like, it says been stolen.
Yes.
Like, so can I get the key? And he was like, oh, I don't have it. He's like, so it's been stolen and the guy that stayed here was been stolen. And he was like, yeah. He was like,
That was the most funniest shit ever, bro.
And then walked off. I said,
I felt bad for. I don't even usually feel bad for cops, but that was like.
he was so bad, bro.
I feel bad for him, bro. Like, you gotta feel bad. He's like, yo, I'm trying to solve this murder, and these niggas out here playing.
That remind me of that damn when Bart Simpson used to call the Bart, be like, "How to speak the IP freely?"
Like,
Ben
let's
Stiller.
need to see more butts.
Yes, see more butts.
Yes, see
Is there
more
see more
butts.
butts?
Yeah. I need to see more butts. Somebody's like, yo, like, what the fuck?
Oh,
Yo, Mo,
man.
you tripping
It was
tonight?
great.
Tripping.
I want to say so. Another crazy story.
Depressing ass child shooting.
So we laughing at something now.
I want to hear about it. Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
I need that on my soul, man. Like,
Oh, I got something worse.
Oh,
I was about to say something
Shit.
nice that I did today.
Well,
I
what you
changed a
did?
woman's tire today.
What?
Because I'm a great guy like that.
What you feel?
And
Right,
didn't
Were
even
you hoping to
expect-
get her number?
Did no ass after
I was
that.
about
keep
to say
going.
that.
What you gotta say, Josh?
So,
Go ahead.
I'm a great guy. Fuck y'all.
Oh,
Jesus Christ.
God damn it. I'm out here saving lives and shit. Y'all better cheer for me or something, god damn it.
she could have got your one.
Go ahead, Josh.
What about
You rigged me.
the chick who was in a coma for 14 years?
Oh,
And
shit.
she got
And
pregnant.
got pregnant.
What the? How the? Oh, fuck that. How
Yeah,
you
I
get
heard
pregnant
that
in the
shit.
That's what we're trying to figure out. She was in a
She
coma.
woke up
No,
pregnant, or she's still in a coma?
she's still in a coma.
Somebody fucking the shit out of her while she sleeps.
The
That's
CEO
it.
stepped
So
down.
hold on, here's the story. She was in a nursing facility.
Janitor.
She was in a nursing facility in a coma for
Janitor fucking the
14
shit out of her.
years. She's 29 years old. Winds up having a baby. Nobody knows who the dad is. None of the men. They supposedly doing a DNA test.
This
for
nigga got
every
all
man
the
in
keys
facility.
to the building. You think you be like, oh,
That's
that's
nasty as shit.
Somebody's watching that Kill Bill and took that shit to heart, bro.
Oh, skeet, goddamn.
That's disgusting as shit.
And I like the fuck.
Yeah, the pussy wagon. Like, damn, bro.
That's
Oh
still
my
in the
God.
world.
Like,
yo.
that's crazy.
That's some wild shit though. Like
That's like one of the most disturbing things I've ever
They
heard.
don't got no kind of cameras nowhere to stop it. They know who it is.
Was she having a period?
I don't know.
Yeah, I know people didn't know.
Don't you need to have a period? No?
I'm trying to figure out why did it take until the
Joe,
I don't know.
we gonna breeze past that one. Look, we gonna breeze past that shit, Joe. I'm sorry.
Listen, I want to know.
Ovulate to have. All right, go ahead.
Sorry for
But she's just in a coma. That don't mean like she not still. Yeah.
She damn near dead.
No, but
I've been in a coma for 3 days. You
her
just
body's
fucking
still
sleep.
going.
What, you
She's
was ovulating?
95% dead.
Whoa, what
She,
the
that's
Damn.
I was
Hey, Key, I want to ask you about
No, man. Don't ask me nothing about this.
I want to say something.
This is the subject. Did you hear about the girl who was in a coma for 14 years and ended up getting pregnant and having a baby?
No, but I've heard of a story like that before.
Oh,
It's not
really?
the first time.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other
It
time.
happens. Like,
So the girl was in a coma. She's 29 for 14 years. She ended up having a baby. Nobody knows who the dad is. So they trying to issue a warrant for the DNA
everybody
test.
that work in the hospital.
We don't know yet, but of course that's the assumption. So they got a warrant out where every man there is going to have to submit a DNA test to match up with the baby.
Hey, man.
Nigga,
See this cup?
he done quit long time ago.
If he's
He
smart.
might have, yeah, he might
That
have.
nigga been gone. So.
But that's what I'm saying, though. Well, they gotta go through their records and see who.
But we don't know if it's somebody who worked there or a
It's gonna be-
visitor or a
the
janitor
baby
or
gonna be
whatever.
like half Puerto Rican.
Alright,
Like
don't
every
say no
Puerto
dumb
Rican
shit.
nigga show up to
Bro,
the
Yep.
bathroom.
Bro, it's probably been stolen.
Damn.
Bye,
bro.
bye.
I was about to say that.
I'm not even.
They're gonna look at the records. Ben stole it.
If you fucking take the coma, you are a horrible human.
Ben stole his
And
tracks again.
This nigga out here knocking down
man.
chicks while they sleep. That's not even fun.
Florida, man.
That's
He probably is a necrophiliac as well, though.
Yeah, you gotta be.
Yeah.
You humping dry fish like
Because she's
just.
damn near dead.
Oh my god.
You say that, you don't get no reaction.
Oh my god. Bruh.
You came back 4 months later like you pregnant?
Oh my god.
What up? You got Joe acting up to it?
That nigga,
That's probably what
she
happened.
in there mopping and shit. I'm like, yo, she pregnant. That nigga like, I quit. That nigga left, son. That nigga out.
That shit ain't mine.
That nigga out, son.
Oh, I know other niggas is
What up? You making
I know.
This nigga out here.
And they gonna line them niggas up like on life. Like, who the pappy? I'm the pappy.
Yo, if they catch him,
Yo, Maury about to get a hold of this shit.
Yup.
I hope they find this
Maury really is
motherfucker.
Everybody in America wants to know who the daddy of that
Wait a
baby is.
second.
So, imagine coming to work, like, yeah, everybody, all the men stand to the left. Y'all gotta jerk off in the bathroom real quick. I'll be like,
Niggas about to use all their sick days.
So the baby just came out. Like, it just
No,
Came
no,
out,
no,
came
no.
out like last week or
Did
something.
it? Yeah.
So
It's
she's
like real
she's
recent.
still in a coma?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
But here's my thing. Here's my question. On a serious note, how did the
like 5
nurses?
samples.
They had to check on her daily. How did they? If they knew she was pregnant, why did it take till she had the baby for this to become news? Like they knew she was pregnant, they should have been.
apparently,
They
they said they didn't know she was pregnant until the baby came out.
Right.
Like the baby came
How
out.
fat is she?
Well, there is a show called I Didn't Know I Was Pregnant.
Yeah, that shit does happen.
Okay.
I
don't
mean,
know.
yeah, it happens.
Oh, okay.
I find it.
I know you don't.
For me, it's a little more believable that they did know, but the people that are over the hospital, since healthcare is a for-profit.
Oh, the
business,
CEO resigned.
Yeah,
the
they don't.
CEO.
They didn't want that
Probably
to get out, so
so.
they
Yeah,
held
that's what
off
I
as
said.
well as much as
That's
they
what
could.
we. That's what
They
we
be getting
said.
fuck
That
outta
would be
here.
more likely to me, because in all honesty, right now in healthcare, it's more so about the bottom line than the patient's health. So.
That's crazy, though. That's one of the most disturbing stories I heard in a while. Like, can you imagine that was your family member, and then you like, yo.
Now you got a nephew and shit.
Right.
Like, who is this?
They just gonna throw the baby on you, like, you the next kid. Here you go.
Like, if she wakes up, I would just don't tell her.
Nah,
she gonna be like on some Kill Bill shit, like the bride or some shit.
She ain't gonna know.
No, she'll never know. Like, you'll do more damage by telling her.
Yeah, I know.
Man, she gonna find out somehow.
She might Google some shit.
This shit on Google.
You never know.
They
got her name on it.
You forgot about it?
They let her name get put on it?
I think. I ain't gonna.
I'll put like this. How about this? She gonna be walking one day, and it's gonna be a little like, man, this kid looks like.
Well, you can still keep the kid in the family. Black families do that shit all the time.
Right.
She gonna wake up with like, my pussy hurt like a motherfucker.
I cannot.
Moving
God
on.
damn, what happened?
Forward.
What else you had on the docket, kid?
Have y'all,
First thought at the
Son, we've been good. Son,
Oh my God.
everything else.
Damn, what the fuck y'all been doing? She be walking funny and
I
shit.
feel like I gave birth. Go ahead.
That was clever. That was clever. I ain't gonna lie. That was
That's where
clever.
my stomach come from. I had a
I can't even. That was clever.
did y'all hear about the controversy with, well, not controversy, but the scandal with John Gray, Pastor John Gray? And his wife?
Yes.
Is that the Lamborghini gifting?
Yeah. So let's talk about the whole story in its entirety. So the first time that I saw that he was in the news was when he was on, I think it was like Sister Circle or some show, I don't know. But he was talking about his wife, and he was like, basically what he said was, I wasn't ready to be a husband or a father when we got married. She went through a lot with me, so I owe her everything, like that kind of speech. So there was that. And then shortly after that, they renewed their vows, and he bought her a Lamborghini SUV.
That's her birthday.
Okay. That was her birthday. Lamborghini SUV. And then he officially got instated as like head pastor at Relentless, which is in Greensboro.
Oh, that's here?
Somewhere in South Carolina.
I think
Yeah, somewhere in South Carolina. He officially got instated as like the head pastor for the church. And his first sermon, he preached a sermon, and then he started basically telling about his story or whatever. And according to the video, he said that for the past 2 years, like, they were headed towards divorce. A lot of things had been going on or whatever. The wife got up, and she was a little more upfront about what happened. Like, she was like, I wasn't gonna let some woman who spoke to his insecurities steal me from my purpose. I prayed for him, and I prayed for her, and blah blah blah, XYZ, all this other stuff. So there's a lot of different, I guess, opinions about it. Of course, you have people who are really deep into the church, and they just feel betrayed, for lack of a better term, or they feel like, of all people, he shouldn't have done that, and all this other stuff. Like, some people say that. They say that he needs to step down from being the pastor. A lot of shit. So
this happens in like damn near every church.
I mean, I feel like it happens in real life. Like, niggas cheat.
Southern Baptist Church. The pastor is fucking the shit out your wife.
How about this? In every church I've been to in my life of living, every pastor in that church has been accused of doing some shit like that. All of from New Jersey to South Carolina. So it's like, that's why I stopped going. I was like, I'm good on this.
I have a personal story about that. I seen my pastor in high school. I'm coming out. Me and my homeboys, we all went to the Dollar Movies in Charleston.
Oh shit!
So we chilling, and I see the pastor coming out. I'm like, nigga, that ain't your wife. I'm like, hey, pastor, was good. That nigga was sick, yo. So sick. Oh shit, that's your wife. You take to the dollar thing, you gonna
That's because it was you, though. You real sick.
On me.
The last one I want to see.
So most is it?
I'm in the junior choir looking at that nigga like,
Nigga, no, I can see.
Every day you walk in church, hey, pastor.
that nigga was like dumb far. I think the dollar thing was, like an hour away, son. And we just went out there just because, like, it was like the whole basketball team, football team.
Ladies,
we just all went out.
I don't condone being a silent, but if you're gonna be one, don't be a cheap one. Get paid for your silence. Hello.
Yeah, definitely. So is it that? Why is it? It seemed like for the most part, as far as Catholic priests or whatever, or white preachers, they get hemmed up on some child abuse shit. The black preachers either go fuck your girl.
Well, first of all, black Catholic priests, it hasn't always been this way, but they take a vow of chastity. So, they're not supposed to be having sex with women. Well, at all, but they rationalize to fuck little boys.
So you can't have sex at all? They're supposed to think a man will suppress his sexual desires?
Priests and nuns, but that hasn't always been the case. They used to be allowed to be married.
This is new to you?
But yeah, they take a vow of chastity.
I'm not in the Catholic church. I don't even know any Catholics.
Yeah, they take
it's
a vow
like,
of chastity.
Fucking little boys is like a loophole. And,
basically.
Like, you're not having sex with women.
I didn't know.
And then you got all these little boys around you carrying candles and shit.
I never even seen a nun talk.
It really just goes back to that whole power thing.
That's not true.
Yeah.
It really just goes to that whole celebrity power thing.
I don't think that's the power thing. I mean, they're literally denying their most basic human need. So, I mean, that's...
So there's still a way.
I mean, the only ones that I know that can
because
really
you're like, God, I'm not out here fucking these women. Like,
as long as you pay penance, you good.
So does the church feel betrayed because they feel like he used church funds to buy a Lambo?
Well, first, that was one of the things, but he was established before that. He was already making money prior to being installed as a pastor at the church. As an author. He had already sold 6 books before he became a pastor at the church. So he was already making his own money. So, I mean, some people still believe that. Because they were saying, like, the last time that they went to church or whatever, instead of them paying tithes, he actually, like, you came up, you brought a bill, and they paid, your bill or whatever. And so they were like, oh, he just trying to make up because he stole church funds. But, I mean, I don't know anyone that doesn't think that the pastor taking something like, who knows?
Right.
And they probably are shit.
Take my money because...
But, yeah. It was interesting. Like there's just a whole lot of different points of views on it, I guess. And I listened to what he said in the church. And one, when it comes to cheating, I don't hold pastors to a higher standard than I hold any other man that's in a committed relationship. If you're going to be in an exclusive committed relationship, you don't cheat. Mm-hmm. Like that's it. Leave, separate, period. Like so, I don't really think. I don't feel like. I mean, I understand that if you're, I guess, in a certain position in the community, you know what I'm saying, you're supposed to be held to a higher standard. But I feel like not cheating is a basic standard. It's not a higher standard.
But if you're regular single pastor, hey, get on these hoes, man.
They supposed to be taking a better chastity too.
But that's one of my problems.
Really? I didn't know that.
Allegedly. I mean,
you're not supposed to get fornicating because, like, I guess that's against the Bible. But,
yeah.
But shit, everything is a sin. Eating goddamn shrimp is a sin.
But that's one of my biggest problems.
You take these hoes to Red Lobster.
with religion and how people look at pastors, because it's not even a cheating thing. Like, even when it comes to, they find out they've been embezzling money out of church funds for whatever their own purposes. I think people are just putting these people in religious positions and holding them to higher standards than they would anybody else. And I don't think the religion should be a de facto thing where you should, you know what I'm saying, they human just like anybody else. They're going to make mistakes and do things. It shouldn't be based on religion that you hold them higher than anybody else. That's all.
Yes, it should.
Why?
You took an oath to say, hey, I'm going to uphold these fucking laws that God based upon us. So you took an oath saying like, hey, I'm going to be better than everyone. So you got to kind of run with it. Like, you can't just be like, oh, I'm going to take this oath and just be like, yeah, first chance you get, I'm going to fuck these hoes, nigga. These hoes, nigga. You can't. Like, you were held to a higher standard because you put yourself in that position. Like, it's like you run for president. You know what you got to do when you run for president. You got to follow those. You got to abide by those codes. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, I'm gonna say obviously not.
I'm gonna say they do, but you can't. Like if
like if Obama would have got caught cheating, like niggas would have found a reason to impeach him.
Yeah. What I'm basically saying is that oath don't mean shit based on the book. Because if it's in your heart already, that oath to that book don't mean nothing.
All right, these people that you're preaching to are your followers. They're following you. You're supposed to set an example as a pastor, as any type of religion.
That's what I'm saying.
I would say this though. The whole idea is flawed because we shouldn't be followers of anything.
That's what I was about to say.
We shouldn't have one leader. And generally in churches when they want to choose a pastor, one of the prerequisites is usually that they're married already.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
To sort of sort of forego some of these problems.
Mm-hmm.
But generally, even having a leader in the first place is already a flaw.
Yeah.
Because then it's like, okay, say you're a man, you have a male leader in the church. Are you more comfortable with a man who took a vow of chastity, or you're comfortable with a man that's single?
I want
And
to
then
do
I
that
mean-
on these hoes, nigga.
Yeah, I mean, you know, but I feel like
I
for
want to
my-
call it, yo, pastor, we gonna get these
Yeah.
hoes out the church? Like, yeah, nigga, I got you. We got the bar.
Yeah, but you wouldn't respect them, you know. But I think having one head.
Nigga, I mean, the
I
fuck
think having one head is a flaw of the society. Period. Everybody should be an equal part. Like a church should be a consortium of people. That one person standing up front, leading it, and generally is flawed most of the time.
That's what I was getting at. Because my whole reason behind it is because a lot of church people want people to follow in Jesus, right?
Yeah.
Who, according to the book, is free of sin, perfect, right?
Perfect, yeah.
So how are you going to hold a human being to that kind of standard and pick him as your leader?
I mean, you can't.
You're going to always fall short of that.
No, but you're worshiping Jesus. You're just listening to what.
So what? They got the same book as everybody else.
Yeah.
But you're picking one person as the de facto voice.
So he volunteered to do that. It's not like they're choosing somebody and saying, "Hey, you." No, he said there was a calling on my life. So when you say, "Oh yeah, I believe that there's a calling on my life," then you're setting yourself to that higher.
And people
People
voluntarily
do
follow him. That's
They
what I'm
did.
saying.
But you said you're choosing that. You're putting that person on the pedestal. They put themselves on that pedestal.
What the people who follow him are putting him on the pedestal.
Yeah, but he had to say, "I want to be a pastor" first. Nobody came and plucked him out of his life and said, "Come be a pastor."
But even if he says that, he can't be in his position without people following him, choosing to follow him, right?
He can still be a pastor.
Because
without
I was having to be a pastor all day and have the church of one of me being
You
me.
can still be a pastor without a flaw.
Yeah.
You can still claim to be that.
Right. So what I'm saying is his followers, they want to choose and follow somebody. So my whole beef is with the whole following thing, like I was saying, like,
Okay.
you know what I'm saying? I don't care about the whole preacher thing. I'm talking about the followers. Like, why are y'all following somebody who y'all want to aspire to be like somebody who's perfect or free of sin?
Mm-hmm.
And then when he falls short of that, you act surprised or whatever. That's my whole logic behind it.
Oh, well,
I mean,
I agree with you.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And I say this all the time. Like, I feel like a lot of people that I come across that go to church, they're not that are, I'll say, frequent church goers, like gung ho. If it's something at the church, they're gonna be there. They're not necessarily
Family and Friends Day.
independent thinkers to a certain point. Like normally, whatever that man or woman standing in that pulpit says, that's facts.
Yeah.
That's the word. That's it. But even in the Bible itself, it tells you need to study for yourself.
Exactly.
It
Yes.
says that you need to study for yourself.
Exactly. Yeah.
But no, I mean, you can't accept. It does feel like it's a catch-22 because they put themselves in these positions, but you can't expect them to be perfect because they're still human. Right. And for me, my only issue with it, when I heard him talking, for one, he said it was 2 years, and he could have stepped down. No one was forcing him to do this. He could have stepped down and focused on his family. And he said he felt like that's what he should have done, but he didn't do it. So I feel like that's on you. Did it end?
Hell no, it's even worse news.
What is that?
I don't even follow niggas on Twitter.
So, sorry to just completely, this is really
Breaking
abrupt.
news.
Yeah, but this is
Breaking
due to TSA absence. Miami Airport will temporarily close one terminal early for 3 days. Now,
Probably
a lot of people.
the last terminal that nobody ever be in.
Oh wow! It said the security checkpoints in Terminal G will be closed after 1 p.m.
So
That's afternoon.
So the afternoon shift called out.
We know about Terminal G. That's busy.
why would they close that one down?
It's
If
the
that's
biggest one, probably.
Why not just bring people to that one and close the lesser busy ones down?
I don't know.
I would put it
I
to you
think
like,
it's
if you worked at TSA
Yeah.
and understood the logic, you'd be like, none of this shit makes sense. That's all I can
Like,
say.
like,
That's all I can say.
don't
It might be strategic.
don't
though.
think so.
Right.
You can never
Logic and TSA
Logic-
management don't
I
go
was
hand
just
in hand.
wondering. I was just wondering.
and we think the same things and ask the same questions, and they don't need the answers.
Yeah.
They just need the more questions. You be like, yo, what time is it? Then at the end of the day, you like, I didn't get no question to that. I didn't even answer that. Like, what the fuck happened?
Wait till
They'll
Sunday.
run you around.
So I heard an interesting theory, like
Go ahead.
makes sense about that. Like, it was just some random girl talking, but she was saying that it's a possibility that his plan is to carry this out as long as it takes to see that, to the point to where there's like rioting and protests and things of that nature, and then just declare martial law.
Yeah.
My whole position about it, I look at the bigger picture, right? That people don't even talk about. At the same time, when this whole shutdown was going on, Robert Mueller has found more evidence of Russian collusion that nobody's really talking about.
Well, now
everybody focused on the shutdown.
So...
It's other shit going on like that's way more important than. Well, I ain't gonna say way more important because we ain't getting paid. That's definitely important. But I think what he's doing is a play action fake. He wants us looking one way when the real shit that's really going on is not what's being talked about. But that's just me, you know what I'm saying? I think.
Well, that would solve both his problems then.
You know what I've been saying for the longest, son. Like, they've been trying to get rid of TSA. And I think this kind of, like...
So do they have something else in place? Like, are they just going to use machines? Is that what they're trying to do?
No, they don't have nothing else.
Look, y'all don't want no machines,
private security.
I feel like it sounds good to get rid of us. They're not going to get rid of us, dog. It costs too much to get rid of us.
I was listening.
No, they can privatize.
No, they can, but who the fuck's going to stay for that?
Oh,
I mean, that whole process ain't gonna be an easy one. They're gonna
find some motherfuckers that'll do it for pennies.
I mean, they
go through this, all these Mexicans patting your ass down, you know.
I mean, that makes sense, but you know, there are many agencies that are shut down.
Yeah.
You know, be it the Mueller investigation, be it some sort of martial law scenario.
Oh, they do that.
It could be a bigger picture, but I was telling Josh today, you know, I was like, I also look at it from the perspective of oil pipeline, right? Because there's an oil pipeline coming from Massachusetts all the way down to the Gulf.
Shout out to a South Carolina attorney.
East Coast, right? Fighting it. Then you have a Dakota pipeline going from Canada straight down the middle to the Gulf. So west left, right? The pipeline from the Pacific to the Gulf Coast. So the wall straddles that same line, and you could construct the wall and the pipeline at the same time. So there could be multiple things going on here, right? Because that's the only thing they need left for that pipeline to work. So that tells me that it's going to be like February 1st at least.
Yeah. Before
they're doing anything. I don't know who they would have in place to do it. Like to do the jobs of Border Security, Customs, TSA, Justice Department, you know, all those entities, unless you're just going to not open TSA again. Like, you know what I'm saying?
That's what I was saying. Like, if everybody else is closed, it's not just a focus on us anymore. Yeah, because you got everybody else also.
Well, I seen
federal prisons.
I seen where the I think it was air traffic controllers are.
Yeah,
they
paid.
FBI say
air traffic controllers are government.
Federal Aviation Administration.
What they don't want to do.
Don't fuck with them,
right?
It's already
because we talking about this today.
They have the
like
highest suicide rate of any profession in the country. You gonna fuck with them?
Yeah.
See, they the ones who inspect the planes before they take off. So if they don't inspect the planes, and let's say and the plane still take off, and some shit go wrong, and the plane crash, you know how big a lawsuit is going to be for that?
It's a hard no.
There ain't nothing flying if they ain't inspecting the plane. Exactly. That shit is crazy, man.
And if they don't do nothing, ain't no planes going.
Ain't no planes
That's
going.
The whole point. They're not even going.
And the sad part is, they'll still want us to come to work. So I'm coming to work. I'm
gonna come to work. I told everybody, and this might sound crazy, I want this to happen. I want to see chaos.
Damn, bro, you sound like chaos.
Nah, keep it fucking
right.
You know why though? Yeah. Because chaos is absolute. Chaos is fair. Because at the end of the day, whenever something chaotic happens, something good comes out of it. Hurricanes, right? That's chaos. You can't stop it. It happens. Something good happens out of that. 9/11, chaos. Something bad happened out of that.
R. Kelly calls. Go ahead.
Chaos. Yo, Joe got the jokes this year. Okay. But
like Joe Torre.
But no, I mean when you have something chaotic like this, all is gonna happen. Okay, you don't pay us, FAA ain't gonna do anything, cool. Ain't no planes going. Planes don't go. Delta, American, Southwest,
all them billion-dollar companies,
Air Canada,
the economy about to crash.
Frontier, everybody.
It already crashed.
Hey, we don't make no money no more. Right. So when that happens, guess what happens to the economy? Because our biggest money maker in our economy
is airlines.
It's airlines.
Yeah.
It's travel. If we don't do that, economy, the whole shit plummets. You drop into a recession. I want to see this shit happen, so then everybody can look back like, That was your guy who did that. We ain't do that shit under Obama. Like, we ain't had none of this. Like, I don't even want to compare the two. But it's like, yo, y'all voted for somebody who y'all knew was not capable of this job, and he sent us into a fucking depression.
Right.
Like, so there you go. You got what you wanted, but you wanted that wall though, right? Let chaos ensue, dog. It's fair. We'll be okay. Black people will be fine. Like, y'all think
the
we're
depression
gonna be
bad
okay.
enough, we gonna be crossing the
We know how to
board.
survive.
Exactly. That's done.
We know how to survive.
When I
We
told
do.
you,
Have each of us not been?
I've been through some shit.
Without currency
Broke as
before?
shit.
Right.
Yes.
Broke as shit.
This is 2 years
Yeah,
ago.
we know how to survive.
I know, we was good.
If anything, it's gonna bring us together as a community again.
but that's exactly like
No.
I don't want
You from Jamaica. Fuck out of here. The floor, like, nigga, that dirt is not going nowhere. That's going
Side
dirt.
note, I saw a documentary about the gangster from there too. Out of Tivoli Gardens, they was wildin'. Yeah,
Gardens.
they was wildin'.
Are you talking
That's
about
my nigga
Yachty?
Coke, Christopher Coke, and his daddy.
Christopher Coke?
Those some real goons right there.
You was watching what's the Drug Lord?
Yep. my girl Jamaica Thomas.
What's my shit?
I fuck with Jamaica.
She was so Compton, like,
That was my
Listen,
shit.
her husband was like, I ain't really fucking with the cocaine. I'm just trying to sell the weed. She's like, oh, I got
she's like, fuck out of
Yo,
here.
I bet that nigga had the wild Jerry curl.
it.
yo.
The wild Jerry
That shit was
curl,
like
bro.
this. He's like, all his pictures was like,
Yeah, bro. She was killing the game too.
but
She was moving hundreds of thousands of
no, it's
kilos.
good. It's real good.
What's
Yeah,
that?
I learned a lot.
Yeah, it's called Drug Lords. It's like 2 seasons of that shit.
I came to the conclusion that the ultimate problem that I really can't seem to solve for being a major drug dealer, at some point you're going to go down. You're just going to, because you get too powerful for the people in power, so then they just sell you out.
No, it's
if
always-
you can solve that problem,
You don't know when to stop. There's
It's always
Stop
one person who
making
don't get
money.
their fair share.
And they-
Yeah.
yeah.
They snitch.
So
I think it's always from the inside out. It's never from the outside in where you
Yeah,
go.
like,
Give somebody
But
else a
Christopher
job.
Coke did
For
a
the
damn
most
good
part.
job. Like, they still fucking with Christopher Coke, so.
it seems like the feds and the cops and everybody's dumb until there's that one guy like, hey, I want to tell you a secret. He's like, oh.
Sound like Jigsaw. Wanna play a game?
He's like, oh, thanks for the information, stupid. Like, now we got who we need, yo.
Hey, did
Those
y'all
are
see-
dumb
did y'all-
shit that give you away.
Did y'all see that thing I put on Facebook with your boy, the comedian? He was talking about he was snitching in the room and he was sweating and shit.
No.
Oh, I gotta show y'all that when this is over. That shit is hilarious.
That's crazy.
Speaking of which,
What the fuck?
You
That's the
got to
weirdest
know.
segue ever.
Yeah, like, what?
Why are you looking like
Yeah.
that?
motherfucking almost 1 in the morning.
Oh.
Yeah,
Nigga, you weird.
we didn't know if you were going to segue.
I said when this shit is over. Speaking of which,
Yeah.
That's-
Yeah, now I get it. Those bars were terrible. That's all.
hey son, don't be disturbing my bar.
You've done better.
That was
Yeah, you've done way better. Like,
Yeah.
I was expecting you to say something like pervy or something.
Speaking of which.
Jaya, you know, he got 2 weeks of build up, so I let him take the floor.
Oh, pause that.
Oh, yeah.
You out here looking like you ready to chop down a tree. I see you.
Yeah, you do got the Paul Bunyan hat on, bro.
I'm out here, son.
I remember Jack
Lumberjack,
Jack.
homie.
Fucking goddamn, I got
You got
it,
the
too.
stick up
Oh,
kid.
yeah.
You got that?
You shook my hand, yeah.
It's okay. It's okay. It's all right.
Got the stick up kid, the lumberjack. You know what I'm saying? Suave over here with the clean head.
We like the new Backstreet Boys.
Y'all fucking up. And Joe the manager, because he ain't fucking with y'all.
Ashley, the eye candy, our sweet, our pretty caramel.
No,
pie.
Ashley is the publicist, because she don't take no shit.
Right.
Joe
We ain't gonna make no money because you be talking shit.
Joe gonna be like, guys.
No, but that's why they were together. Your publicist
Gotta
and
make
your
this
manager. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You got your videographer over here. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the sound guy. You know?
You got a live studio audience.
Woo!
Like, woo! Ow! Yeah!
I can't.
Yo!
Can we
What's up?
all right, shout out to TSA government employees. Should we start having rent parties?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm with it.
$5 a pop.
Yeah, I'm with it.
Wait,
I was thinking about
I'll
doing that. Dak, we get look GoFundMe's popping out here, yo. Let's
Yeah, that's
go.
why I go funny.
Yeah.
Streets always hiring.
And you know what? We
Yeah.
we
You cut your
joke a
dreads.
lot, but in all seriousness, like for people who may listen to this or whatever it is, watching us, yo, you got a bunch of people who are not getting paid right now, yo. This
Yeah.
is basically slavery at the end of the day. I mean, we have the choice to leave, but that's a hard decision. You know what I'm saying? But yo, for the people coming in, like coming up to us and all that, yo, if you're not trying to show a little empathy or at least have something nice, like yo, just keep pushing, yo. Please don't give us a hard time.
You don't want
Especially when we at work. Like, please don't give us a hard time.
Once this is over, we're gonna have a series on Lifetime called "Surviving the Shit."
Surviving Trump. So yeah, I want to piggyback what Sean was saying. I want to give a shout out to the more than 800,000 federal workers who out there. I feel your pain. I'm not getting paid like y'all. I mean, we're going to figure it out some kind of way. We'll make it. You know, we're going through some bullshit, but...
I don't know if my roomies are still listening, but we're going to try to have Sunday dinner and y'all can come. I got to ask them first.
That's cool because I'm about to try to see if I get some EBT, so I got you food.
Is it going to be soup kitchen style?
I mean...
Yo, Joe is wild.
Hey, kid, are you going to have a cafeteria lady hat on?
I'm feeling like old school Big Mama Sunday. You know what I'm saying?
Next.
What is it?
I'm gonna look at Joe. I'm like, Joe, you gonna eat your corn?
I'm from New York City.
I'm from New York City. Yo, Joe, give me your milk. Try how they did on that holler,
Get some consequences for repercussions.
Take them up out there.
I know old bitch ain't delicate hard.
That's my favorite.
Yo.
Well, I think we touched on a lot today, man. You know what I'm saying? It's good to have everybody here and all that. It's good to laugh and all this shit. So
touched on a lot like R. Kelly.
Oh
my God.
Can I tell a quick R. Kelly story before we go?
you got like 5 minutes.
All right, that's okay. All right, so
I didn't got to think about it. Like, I got to.
So apparently, Kim and Michelle was with R. Kelly as well, living in the house, right? Kim and Michelle.
Oh shit, this is
Jason,
wild.
this is a video with not a video, an interview with Jason Lee from
What she
Hollywood.
had?
I think before that,
Oh,
in the middle, but he put her on to the music industry, whatever, right? So she was one of the people living in the house. So basically, she tells a story. She basically is like not telling his secrets, really not saying much about anything damning to R. Kelly, but because she feels like he saved her life, right? So she tells a story where at one point he had a shark tank. He had a shark in a fish tank, right?
Yeah. Oh, shit.
Now this is her words, her story. You can look it up on if you want to.
Okay.
She said that when the shark died, right? R. Kelly's response to the shark dying is that he had to fill a tank with something, right? He filled the tank with women.
That's some pimp shit.
He filled the whole tank with women, and had them on salary. So he had, and then because he didn't want any other men, he didn't want the women to show any other man attention. So when women came, now they were in there for like days, but they were on salary, right? When a woman came up, the woman would mimic the woman that was touching on the tank, and when men showed up, they would totally ignore them.
Wow.
Now that's a little bit of a glimpse into the Rick James shit that R. Kelly was doing.
That's crazy.
You know, that's just really that was one of the most eye-opening stories.
But that's one thing that kind of I always thought about it was like it's kind of
some shit like that.
Right.
Let's ask that question.
Yeah.
How much money would you need to do
This
that?
dude is like
Is there a
the
price?
like that.
this dude's like the Black Charles Manson, bro. Like he just has
Minus the shooting people in
Yeah, I know, minus that, but like he has a cult, bro.
But no, I mean, like what
It's a
Josh
cult.
just said,
Like this is just crazy.
what Josh just said, like, yo, being from Chicago, like, is that
like a
that's
pimp
some
mentality.
I don't Midwest. That's just a Midwest thing.
Yeah,
you know, honestly,
like,
like
that's-
niggas I know in Detroit think like that. Niggas from
Wait, think like what? Think like what?
Like
just
in
that's
the old school pimp mentality.
Yeah, that's like some
power.
Yeah, that's where a lot of
Power
pimp
over
God,
women.
magic wand and
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
that
Pimp
Midwest.
Not
Kid
making
and all
money
them
off
niggas
of
from
but
the-
just having
That's
that
why I like
power
about
over and that
Gorilla
control over them.
Yeah.
I didn't know. Just quick
That
note.
book.
I thought Chicago was the heart of pimping, but Milwaukee, them niggas pimp hard in Milwaukee.
There's a book
Yeah.
where the
For
pimp did
real.
the whole life story or whatever.
Yeah, iceberg.
Yeah.
Little stalky out there, bro.
If anybody wants to listen to the life story of a pimp, it's the life story of a pimp called Iceberg.
Iceberg Slim.
Yeah, Iceberg
Yeah.
Slim. You don't even gotta read it. It's on YouTube. The whole thing.
Y'all watched
The
it?
whole thing.
It's good.
What is it? Iceberg what?
Yeah, he wrote a lot of good books when he was in jail.
I mean, shit, being a pimp ain't no different from being a businessman.
Yeah, he was out there smacking them hoes.
Damn, are you gonna turn Shark Tank
You gotta cut them under their arms so they don't show scars.
Yeah,
not a thing.
I don't watch every pimp documentary.
Yeah, burn their feet. So yeah,
I mean, he just said burn
so
their
the
feet.
hair
It's like,
cover up the scars.
So I think that's our episode.
We're gonna end it on pimping.
Yeah, we're gonna end it on pimping.
Stay pimping.
This was your boy Sean, Mr.
But
NJ
don't be a
Brick
gorilla
City.
pimp.
It's a job from the sky. Hit it hard from the back.
I'm leaving.
Oh my god.
I'm leaving.
Where the fuck that come
Okay.
from? I think this whole that whole reset button got to you, bro.
Yeah, bro.
I'm so done.
Ajay has lost his mind.
Yeah.
Right.
This is just Kia.
Woo!
Yeah.
Remember?
Don't be a gorilla pimp.
Nah, this be a regular one.
Yeah. Alright, Joe Cole.
Jack, look, Joe of all trades, motherfucking Joe
Average
Schmo, average Joe. No.
Ashley. Penny Hardaway.
Quiet storm.
He said he was gonna have a name that made some sense. You said that shit like a couple of days ago. I'm like, oh, that shit actually sounds dope. Now you don't want to say it.
What name was it?
Doesn't matter anymore. It must not have been that great.
You mean Osmondo in your condo?
Whoa!
Horrible. Fuck out of here.
But guess what? That's better than what he just did.
Oh,
Weird as shit. But yeah, this is the Unfamous Podcast, guys. Thanks for listening.
We out.
We out.
I thought Joel Santana was going to jail. How are you getting married?
That's what we should have talked about. That shit.
Don't still lie.
Yeah. Well, he proposed after he found out he was gonna have to take the charge. You know.
What do you gotta do? Like 2 years?
I don't know. I don't
It
know.
was
I don't
it was
know
up
if
to
he's
5.
been sentenced yet. Yeah.
I think he